So let me figure out where the echo is coming from. Is this it? Oh, that one's down on the way. Okay. Oh. Oh. Did that fix it? No. How about that? No. Put that out of that one. Guess I'm not gonna be able to do the double screen, guys. We'll just get rid of the double screen. All right. Well, I'm still in here. That's crazy. Okay. Is that better? Yeah, that's much better. Okay, just for some reason wouldn't let me put the phone up. I was trying to let y'all see what I was working on. So I can actually get this out of my lap now since that's kind of a mute point. Can y'all hear me? Let me turn this one back up if I can figure out how. Can y'all hear me okay? Hi, Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Let's see, I muted the device and it wouldn't mute all the way down. I tried. Oh, let me see. That. Let me see if I can log in here if it does it again. If it does, I'm going to turn it right back off. Is it doing it again? I'm not in there yet. We'll know in a minute. Oh, I can just mute the whole thing. Okay, maybe we'll try that. We'll try that. Thank you, Blunt. Okay, we're going to mute that. And maybe that'll work. Let me try this. Let me try this. Because it might work. I just got to get it on the right camera. So camera 2 facing back, yeah. And I want to come in. Enter studio. Is it working? No. I have it muted. It just don't like it. Oh my god. I even went into StreamYard and hit mute. It's still not shutting it up. So we'll just do this. Hi y'all. We'll just come over here and hang out. I was going to show you the pretty pictures, but we'll hold off on that for another day. Ooh, birthday dinner. Smothered chicken. Is that the one smothered in the cream of chicken soup or cream mushroom soup? I know I used to do that a lot. Can you see my face? Well, I figured you'd rather have the face than the desktop. And I couldn't make that one shut up. The minute I opened my mouth, it went nuts. It was like, "Rah!" Oh, I want to show you my book. I'm going to show you my book. My book came. Would you go away, bad ears? Book. Isn't that pretty? Now it's straight. And then it locks. It's got this little lock on it. And all these little pages. And they're kind of like old, tiny looking pages. You know, the torn, thick paper. And that's what I'm going to put my herbal recipes in. So that is kind of cool. But I do have this one, I think, pulled up so that I can watch, maybe. And that's just so I can see it, because this one pulls up faster than that one does. Yes, it's very cute. Very cute. I like it. And I put them, let me see if I can get the link in here. Maybe I can get the link. Okay, come on. Quit being a douche phone. My phone's being a douche. Okay. It's my old phone, and it's like I don't use it except this, and so it's like an act of Congress if I have to use it for anything. It's like, no, I don't want to behave. Everyone, copy that, put that here, and then I will go in here and drop it in here. And that way, if any of y'all lovely people would like to come in, it will be in there. Did that work? No, of course not. My phone is being nuts. Okay, let me see. Try this again. Post a link. And send. There, finally took it. It was like it was doing all kinds of things other than taking it. Did it take it to where you can click on it? Probably not. Hi, Angie. I haven't seen you in here in forever. Is that clickable? Or Cindy Michelle, can you post the link? Because it's not doing right for me. I don't think that went in there as something clickable. It is giving me fits. Or did it? Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, it did. It did. And then I have this for y'all. I'll pull it out in a minute. But someone was like, we want to see what the canvas you're giving for February is. So I'll show you what February is. You know, because I have the monthly, because I need to get it out. Are you doing okay, Angie? I know you're going through it. And I'm getting my nice little stripe. I go on Tuesday. I go Tuesday. And my picture's coming along really well. Really, 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 really well. But there's not really any way to post it on here, so I'll just kind of post it on my Love and Sparkles page. But got 3 inches of snow outside. So, and it's still there. The dogs get as far as the door and they stick their nose out, look around, and they're like, nope, want to come back in. And they're back in. It's like, yeah, we don't want to stay out here, Mom. This is horrible. And I can't say that I blame them because it's like nasty. Well, I don't even know if the mail ran because, the trash didn't. So I'm not sure that the mail did. I don't blame them because it's pretty gnarly out there and soupy and nasty and, the whole 9 yards. So it's like, yeah, why would the mail run? Well, other than the horrible sound, you kind of got the picture at the beginning because you kind of see the picture, and it's coming along really, really pretty. It's the one. Nice. That is awesome. Yay, you got your plane ticket. That is terrific. That is wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm falling down the rabbit hole with all this herbal stuff. Oh my god, people. It's like unreal. I'm watching this chick on Amazon and I was like, or not Amazon, but on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. So I have bought me the amber bottles. I got all kinds of herbs coming in. I'm gonna be making teas and tinctures and stuff for headaches and all kinds of goodies. So that's kinda cool. That's kinda cool. I just hope the bottles or the it's I actually found amber canning jars. I hadn't seen those before, but I found amber canning jars, and I figured that way I'll store my herbs in them because that way they're airtight and pretty much light tight and everything else. Yeah, I can see that, Angie. You would kind of need to be because you really don't want to get them there and then not being able to take them to the new place. That would be kind of a not a kosher thing. So yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. And I think I'm figuring this out. Other than this reverb thing, I don't know why it is doing that. I don't know. Because I'm in on the other phone, but I'm in here watching. I'm not trying to be on the live. So I don't know. I just didn't like that extra phone. And I don't know why. Because I had it muted. I had it muted in the studio. So that's really weird. Ooh, I want to be Sandy. I want to be Sandy. I think I just ordered some more. And I had 6, 7, I had 8. For the allergy tea and antihistamine tea, it was like 8 herbs I had to end up buying. And then I went back and bought the ones for the migraine tincture, the ones I want to put in the migraine tincture. So I went and ordered them. And so, yeah, I can. If you want, I can do that. Like one day a week, do a video on that or a live on that. Because I'm definitely going to be making some stuff up. In fact, I want to make some tea bags up and, maybe send them out to some friends that have allergies. Yeah, I just bought, because I wasn't gonna just buy the little itty bitty bags. I mean, I was like, nah. So I think I got a pound of it. Everything's a pound. So I mean, I've got like pound bags of all kinds of stuff. A pound bag of nettle, sticky or sticker nettle or stinging nettle. It's huge, huge, huge. And then a pound bag of ginger is little bitty. Same with the cinnamon, little bitty. Versus the peppermint leaf being huge. It's like, wow. And then I was watching some videos on how to hi Tijuana. No problem, Angie. I'm here every Wednesday. Um, but I found some videos and it was like doing the 1 to 5 ratio and I got a lot of books coming. But it was like, what did he make? He made he made something. Oh, he was making something, and it was the 1 to 5 ratio or 1 to 9 ratio for it. And he was like, he had to put like 23 ounces of vodka in his thing. I was like, good God. I think I would have stuck to the because they put like 9 ounces of some herb. I guess he was making a big batch of something. You'll be a product tester. I want to get some. I think I ordered yarrow, but I also think I got yarrow right down the road. Do want to get some white willow. I did get some feverfew, and I got the chamomile to go with the feverfew. And what was the other one? I'm putting one other one with it. Oh, of course, you want me to charge my battery. Well, here, I'll tell you what. I'll charge you with this. Ah, there we go. But it was feverfew, one other one, and chamomile all together. But I think what I'm gonna do, Sandy, is make these tinctures by themselves and then just adjust them for like whoever's taking them instead of trying to make one for specific things. Make just a bunch of separate ones, and then you can kind of mix and match and build. Do the build a block. Build a herb, build a block. Yes, we have our fanatics in here. Cindy Michelle's in here. Yay, yay. But look, wait for her spring flings to start. Her snow good is ending, but her spring flings is going to be beginning. So remember that anything springy, it's got flower on it, spring colors. I'm doing magic potions because you can't get no more spring colors than that one. That one's got every color in the rainbow on it. So I figure it's good. I figure it is good. And then I was watching a video on how to make fire cider. Have you heard about the fire ciders, Sandy? Yes, I'm doing mine with allergies, but I'm doing it to desensitize myself again because I took allergy shots for about 11 years and it got where nothing bothered me. And then lately it does. And so what I want to do is make that allergy tea and start out drinking like a cup a day. And then by when spring really gets here, be able to be up to like twice a day to distance myself so I don't sit there and walk around miserable all spring. But yeah, that's why I was thinking about keeping them all separate. That way, if someone is allergic to something, like my daughter, she's like got worse allergies than I do. And, that way I could leave a lot out of hers. So I thought it'd probably be better to make the tinctures separately on each herb, and then that way you can adjust it as you need. But I know I was in my rock shop. I call it my rock shop. And I was in my rock shop and I was complaining about my allergies. And that's where the girl was like, "Man, you just need to make you some allergy tea." And she goes, "You start drinking it about, a month and a half before allergy season. And then when allergy season really kicks in, then you're not so miserable." And I was like, "Yeah, I need that." Rather than having to take Sudafed and up to 2 Claritin and Lord knows what else, and, being miserable and your eyes are all gunky and yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely be picking your brain, Sandy, because yeah, wish you lived closer. I really do. I'd probably be at your house picking your brain. I bought the medicinal herbs one, the big one, it's like a $55 book. I bought that one, but I don't think I have the herbal drugstore. But I've bought like the herbal encyclopedia, and I bought the medicinal herbs, and then I bought another one about medicinal herbal recipes and a couple others, but I don't have the drugstore. And I think that was one they were recommending too. But yeah, definitely, I will get with you. Wow, of that big book, that thing was massive, massive. Very informative, though. Of course, I went and looked at the courses again to see what it would cost to get my certificate, done again, and it was like, oh my god. And I really want to skip all the, mundane stuff. I can see why that would help you. I'm gonna have to look for that. Is it on Amazon? The herbal drugstore? I need to find, and I guess I can look online to find out what I can forage for around here. I think I actually saw a feverfew down by the creek because it literally looks like it. And I think because it really looks like yarrow at the end of my road. Oh, you got it in the bookstore. I could make a Barnes and Noble run. Next time I go, well, I was supposed to go to the doctor today, but the rain, the snow was coming in, and I was like, yeah, I am not driving 40 miles to go to the doctor. And I live 18, 17, 18 miles out of town, which means the road's not going to be touched. It has to do it the natural way. They ain't going to touch it. And so it's like, yeah, no, 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 I don't want to, no, not doing it. Don't feel like doing the slip sliding everywhere. So I was like, I just dig in and I just wait. So, I mean, but I could always go by there. That's what I was wondering about on the sides of the road about if it would be, because I know the highway always has red clover, but then it's right there by all the cars. So I was like, I don't know about that. But I know where I can get red clover from. And I don't even know what mullein looks like. There's no telling what I have up there in the woods. But I know by the creek, I saw these little white flowers with the yellow inside, and I thought, those are really pretty. I was taking pictures of them, and I think it might have been. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So mine, I'd be worried about the dirt because we got so much dirt flying around. But yarrow, it's like everywhere, everywhere. Too bad there's not a way you could like clean them out, you know, because it's like so hard to. But I thought about looking and seeing where they suggest to go forage at around here, because I imagine the herbalists around here have marked areas. And guys, I almost got this diamond painting done. And then I'll think what I'm going to do is I am just going to set up my next one, which starts January 1st, and just have it sit here and I'll start working on my hate again until the 1st. Because I figure I'll probably knock maybe 2, 3 more sections of this out tonight, which would only leave me 3 sections. So I should have it done in like 2 days. Yeah, I've been getting mine from Rose Mountain Herbs. And I think they ran out of chamomile. They didn't have any. Yeah, probably because the oil went up. Because if it's done in oil, yeah, because it's a roll on. Because not only do you have the essential oils that are in it, but you also got the coconut oils. People are charging them for, I mean, ton. Wow, I wish I'd known that because I just bought it. But I imagine that you go through this stuff like crazy. But I bought 12 jars. That way I could put, you know, some up. And then I'm gonna get some jars to make the tincture in, and then put them in little jars by themselves. But yeah, I bought some cool looking jars. Yeah, I'm in Arkansas. I'm not too far from you, Sandy, because you're just in Tennessee. So you're like next state over. Except I'm in the middle of my state and you're probably in the middle of your state. Yeah, that's why I bought the amber because it's like I'm gonna keep them where there's no sunlight, but just like when I'm working on them so they won't get any sunlight. I'm gonna keep them in my closet, away from everybody. Yeah, so you're 4 hours from Memphis and I'm 4 hours from Memphis. So it's like an 8 hour drive. Yeah, yeah, no, you way up there. You way up there. You was about halfway to Loring. I remember that ride. That was the poor ride where I tied my dog to the dumpster to let it go potty, and we forgot it. At least we didn't tie it to the fender because we felt really bad about that. Really bad. I mean, I never felt so horrible when I realized we had left the dog tied to the dumpster. Wow. When I was in military, or not in military, when I was up in school, and we were way at Northern Maine. The school, well, actually, the military flew us to DC because they were trying to wine and dine us, to get us to go up with them. And so I was like, "Well, I'll go on the thing, but I ain't joining. I ain't going back in." So it was like, "Yeah, I'll go on the trip, but I'm not joining the Air Force again as a nurse." I said, "Because then I'll really never see my family." And I was like, "Yeah, no." Yeah, and see, I'm west of Little Rock by about an hour. Let me see if I can get this out of here without making a big mess of it. I know I did it once. Okay, there it is. And this is why I picked it for February, guys, because it's very pretty. It's a very pretty painting. This came in that mystery box. This came in the mystery box. And it is poured glue, so I can roll it and try to get it to go straight. All right, there we go. That's February's. It's almost too big to get it in there all. There we go. There, it straight there. And see how the kind of look like little hearts? So that's why I put it as February. And it does not have the DMCs on it. So it's just numbered. It's got 22 colors. Your basic run the mill little bitty toolkit. Yeah, that's what this was. I mean, it was kind of cool because it wasn't very expensive, is it? But it was only like 20. I did the 12 painting one, and it was like $29 for 12 paintings. So that's not much. There you go. So that'll be February's. And so when this closes out, just go back in the comments and do me, please. And then I will put everybody on the wheel that is interested. But it is very pretty. It is really pretty. I was like, "Ooh, I really like that, but I'll be nice." Because I mean, I got a whole thing of 30 by 40s. Really don't need it. It's like, I'll be nice. But I love the colors in it. Love the colors. They're very pretty. They're very pretty. But like I said, no DMCs. It should go quick because it's just a lot of color blocking. So for you blocking lovers, you are going to love this. A lot of color blocking and no circles. So no circles, lots of color blocking and beautiful colors. Yeah, see, these were 30 by 40s. And it was, I think it was like 27 or 29, something like that. And there's 12 of them. What is that cat doing? My goodness. But yeah, once I finish the one I'm working on, I'm just gonna move on over to the Hade and work on it because I've already got the other one kitted up and I've already got it covered with release papers and all set, so I'll just bring it over here so that I can have it set up and then I'll just move over to the other table and do that. Because yeah, and maybe knock, because I can usually do pretty good section of that if I really sit and just work on it for a few hours. I just have to get into the groove of working off of the tablet again. And I did. I don't know if Nana's in here. Nana's Crafty Jimson's there. Because she sat there and had me go over to Heaven and Earth and look again for Randall Spanglers. And I was able to get the cross stitch pattern for about 5 of those canvases. So I'll be able to do them because I paid for the pattern basically. I prefer I actually prefer confetti because on this one I'm doing, there's parts of it that is just nothing but color blocking, and I'm doing a checker. And I actually found myself almost falling asleep, just getting so bored, just doing the color blocking. I was just like, oh yeah, this is bad. I actually had to get up, make a cup of coffee, because I was fixing to fall on my face. Because I was just like, do, and go back and fill it in. I'd much rather sit there and deal with, doing 3, 1, 2, whatever. Yeah, because those Ticket to Ride ones are huge. Huge. Yeah, I have the old shoe house, but that sucker's monstrous. And I was just like, nah. And I've gotten, I think 1, 2, 3, I've done like 5, 6 kits this month. So at least I've knocked about 6 of them out of my stash. I know it's gone from 371 to 365. So it's an improvement. We're going down on the D stash. Yes, down. Now I did buy one. I did buy one. Let me see if I can get in here and show you. I did buy one and um I bought it from Pam, and I bought it from Pam for the simple reason she's sponsoring, and I try to, when I have a sponsor that's coming, because they usually give really nice prices. And so I try to like go in their shop and get something like, something from 'em. So this is from Pam. Let me see if I can figure out the best way to show that because these are so hard. There we go. And that's from Pam. And I think it was only $35. So I mean, not that bad. Not that bad. And then the one I'm doing, I'll show you where I was up to. That's up to, God, that's such, there we go. There. And I'm just where my pink stuff is. I finished that over there. It's what I was working on. It's a pink butterfly. So I got the butterfly done. Okay. I will definitely do that. I will do that, Sandy. Yeah, because and I thought about buying that. What is it? What is it called? It's like plant identifier. Hi, Dan. I thought about getting plant identifier. Is it plant identifier an app? Nice. That's yeah. I'll check them out. But I think it's isn't it plant identifier on? There's an app for it, and you can like take a picture of something you think is something, and it'll say, "No, that's not that. You don't need to touch that," or "Yeah, that's that, but you need to watch for these." Yeah, now they're coming out with doctor of herbal medicine. I was just like, "Whoa, wow, what?" Most doctors, I mean, some doctors will talk to you about herbals, but most of them, like, "Yeah, no, that's evil." So it was like, yeah. But I definitely want to get to making stuff, if nothing else for friends and family, because to me, it's much better than putting a bunch of chemicals on you. Much, much better. But yeah, I've been rocking along on that one. I think I've only worked on it for like 2 2.5 days, and it's coming along. Oh, it doesn't work? Okay, then I'm not gonna worry about buying it because you have to pay for that one. So if it doesn't identify them correctly, I just get a book, do it the old fashioned hard way. Yeah, that I'm like, yeah, they had to pull my teeth. I finally had to give in, and I'm gonna try Tijuana's guava leaf stuff because it's supposed to help for nerve pain. And the fibromyalgia has gotten so bad in my hands and feet that they were because I'm not diabetic, but I have fibromyalgia really bad. And then the nerve damage that they did during after the surgery. And so it was getting so bad that I couldn't even touch this arm hardly because it was setting off pins and needles and it was getting to where it hurt all the time. So I was like, okay, I give. I give. I have to have something for it. And so that finally went on Neurontin, but I've fought it for a long time. It was like, nah, nah. So I hate taking stuff. And like I won't take Lyrica for my fibromyalgia. I take turmeric and Ceylon cinnamon. And I've looked all over in this podunk state for the Ceylon cinnamon because when I did all my research, it was like, don't take American cinnamon at the doses you would have to take. And so I was like, okay, what do you take? And then it was like, well, you have to take Ceylon cinnamon. Well, Ceylon's the only place I finally found it was on Amazon because it's like, I don't want to kill myself trying to do this. But I wanted to get off Lyrica because, yeah, hated that stuff. I wish they had something you could take for thyroid because I'm hypothyroid, and I just don't know if there's a homeopathic something for thyroid. And I really don't want my goiter going bigger, because it was like, yeah. And I really don't want to feel the way I did before I started taking Synthroid. That was awful. Tell you what, that is awful. And you will know if your thyroid goes wonky on you, you will. I went to my doctor crying, going, please give me just a little bit, just a wee bit. And he was like, no, gotta do all these tests and gotta run all these scans, and gotta run this and gotta run that. And so they drew the blood work, and the next day he's calling me on my phone going, "What pharmacy would you like this at? And as soon as you get there, take the pill." And my thyroid was so whacked out that your TSH level is supposed between 3 and 5. Mine was 25. So I was like, yeah, that's why I'm miserable. And so then whenever the scanning people said, "Well, you can't take any of your medication for 4 days before the scan," I said, "Then this scan ain't happening because 'cause I'm not doing that." They hate dealing with medical people. Yeah, and I mean, you gotta have medicine otherwise, because that's what controls, replaces it. Because mine just doesn't work. I mean, it's just non-functioning. According to my I was married to this evil, 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 evil person. Evil person. He was the white knight, wonderful person before we got married. And then my dad said he noticed it the day we got married. He really did. He said, "Yeah, I saw it the day y'all got married. You became property. He owned you." Well, he didn't start showing it to me or my mom until like 3 months in. And then at 3 months in, the man went psycho. I'm talking psycho, psycho crazy. And oh, Nutaflare does it? Nice. I will have to check that. My blood sugar's fine, but yeah, my thyroid just goes wacko. But I mean, he was so bad that he was jealous of everybody. He was jealous of my mother. He was jealous of my children. He was jealous of my work. I mean, I couldn't if you could not be a guy and be nice and hold the door open for me, and I say thank you, and you say, no problem, and without it becoming a major fight. And it was just like, and he was, and I actually put him through cop school, so that was stupid because then it's like he was like, well, he had me. So I told mom, I said, I can I don't really want to leave him because if I do, I said, he'll have stuff planted in my car. There's no telling. I said, he will stalk me I mean, he just had that stalky personality and it wasn't there before. And I went and got my hair cut. If I'd known that was all it was going to take, I would have cut my hair much sooner for sure. But I went and cut my hair, and he come in and said, "You're never gonna mind, are you?" And I just looked at him and went, "No." And he said, "Well, then we just need to get a divorce." And I was like, "Okay." And I went down to Office Depot and I crawled around on their little floor down because it was down by the floor. And it was like, how to do an online divorce by yourself. And I sat there and I took that disc, I slapped it in my computer, and I followed it and typed it all up and had him sign it and took it up there, and I don't know who he knew, but we were divorced in 3 days. The secretary called me up and said, "Oh, yeah, I filed your divorce for you," and I was like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, the judge signed it. I took it upstairs and filed it for you," and I was like, "Okay," because that really blew my mind because I was like, "That's just not done." But it was like, "Okay, that works. Good." And, yeah, it was just like it was crazy, but up until we got married, he was fine. 3 months in, he was good. Christmas comes around, my daughter was asking about one of the old Christmas ornaments that her and her brother had made when I was married the first time, and he come out and was, like, breaking things, and that can't go on that tree, and it was, like, crazy, and it was like, "Oh my god." And then, I mean, it was literally he was, like, coming up with that he would, stash stuff in cars if I ever left, and so it was like, "Yeah, I can't leave him." And my mom was like, "You need to leave him." I said, "Well, I know I need to leave him, but I can't." I said, "Because I'll probably end up in jail because he'll probably have someone plant some shit in my car." Because I could see him doing it. I really could see him doing it. But that was quickest divorce on record. I mean, because usually they take 6 weeks minimum, minimum 3 days, 3 days. I was just like, wow. So they can be good as gold until the ring goes on, and then they are awful. And no, that's not that kind of ring. That's my hematite ring, but for some reason my joints are swelling up on this finger again. And so I took it off before it got stuck. because I don't want it stuck on that finger. I'll have to go see if I can find a bigger one. But yeah, that was just crazy. So ashwagandha works on your thyroid? Huh. Because I knew it would help with depression. Bladderwrack and black okay. But I sit there, my son, when he was like, his work was so bad and he was flipping out, and they had just put me up on my Fetsima to make me quit crying. So it was like way up, it's way up there. But the crying quit. And so I was like, well, I don't want to go into a serotonin issue because of the ashwagandha and the Fetsima. So I gave him the ashwagandha. It was like, take 2 of these a day, it'll be good. And now he's just like, they come up and start giving him a hard time. And he's just like, that's cool. Go talk to the big man. I died laughing. I was just like, he says, yeah, it's just, I'm not getting upset. He said, it rolls off. I was like, well, at least it's working for you. Because I mean, his blood pressure was going sky high. And I'll have to check into that. Because, yeah. But yeah, it was so I mean, his blood pressure was getting sky high and he was, getting that red look. And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Oh man, he's like they're always doing this and that at work, and he's going. People come in there and they want you to side load them and put this here and that there, and I can't do it." And they're all up. I was like, he said, "Now it's just like he doesn't even let them." Hi, Crafty. He goes, "Now I don't even let it phase me." He goes, I'm like, I'm not you. I can't. It's like, now he did. Some guy, it, they were closing. Okay, I will do that, Sandy. They were fixing to close the gate. He works where he loads cars. It's a salvage yard, but it's not one you can go in and take parts off the car. It's more of one that rotates car out to like auctions and stuff, or you can buy it. And they've made it where you can't drive it out. Even if for drivable, so many people have drove things out of there that shouldn't have been on the road, that they just made the rule of you cannot drive the car out. It has to go on a trailer. And so people come in there and go, no, no, man, I got to take car. But some be like, nope, gotta go on trailer. And the guy's like, I don't have trailer. And he's like, well, gotta go on trailer. He said, I don't know what to tell you. Gotta go on trailer. It's just like, Lord. And he says, well, if they wouldn't come in and take cars that, just about a wheel's ready to fall off of it, that rule wouldn't have happened. And I was like, yeah, I know. I know. But it was like some guy was like, had called the yard, and the yard sent the call out to him of whether or not he would stay for 10 minutes to load him. And so he said, yeah, I'll do it. And so the guy wasn't there in the 10 minutes. My son was like, well, I'll wait a few minutes. I'll wait. So he said, I waited about another 10 minutes. The guy came up and he was just like, oh, thank God you're here. He said, that dude gave me $200. I was like, man, just because you waited 10 minutes? He said, yep. He said, because I waited 10 minutes, he gave me $200 and said, here, this is yours for staying. And I was like, man, that was profitable. And he said, yeah, thank goodness, because, I guess they were needing either some groceries or something. It's like, yeah. But I was like, being nice, sometimes it pays off, because he could have been a real, wad about it and said, no, I ain't staying. Or when the 10 minutes, 15 minutes was up, said, nope, I'm leaving. I'm done. But was being nice. Can you believe it? I have a 17-year-old grandchild and one will be 16 the 17th of next month. It's like, oh my God. Can't believe he's gonna be 16 and the other one's 17. Like, I don't remember him being born. It's like, it wasn't that long ago. It was not, I promise it wasn't that long ago. At least it don't feel like it. And I have seen all of my grandchildren actually physically being born, except for one, two, three. Three of them. Three of the six I didn't get to see. The oldest one, no. Now stop it. You hear my little oomph down there? No. Go lay down. No, go lay down. You didn't like it outside anyway. No, go lay down. But because they were the oldest one, I don't know where they were living when she had him. And then my 16-year-old grandson, they were in Texas. So I didn't get to see him. But then they promptly call me and say, "How soon can she travel?" And I said, "Well, if they released him from the hospital, now if they're up to it." Well, next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call saying, "Drive down here and pick us up. I'm gonna load my car. We'll load your car, and we're moving in with you." And I was like, "Okay." Yeah, that was fun. And then let's see. I saw Alexis, I saw Aiden, and I saw Dawn. All three of those, I actually physically was in the room, saw him being born. And then Asher, I was babysitting Aiden and Alexis, so I couldn't be there for Asher. So I was like, saw three, missed three. So yeah, can't believe they're 16 and 17. And then the next youngest is like 11. So then they start in the small age. But it's like, I just can't believe that. Not real. I mean, I can't believe it. Wow, Tijuana, I didn't think he was that old. For some reason, I thought he was like late 20s, early 30s for some reason. I don't know. Mhm. But yeah, my youngest is 30, it should be 39 in a few months. And then my son will be 41 in a few months. So yeah. And then my adopted daughter, I think she's going to be 46 or 47, somewhere in there. So mine are getting to where they're in their late 30s, early 40s. Yeah. But at least, I mean, not the one that cracks me up is my adopted one. Oh, excuse me. Because she hated science in school. I mean, like really hated it. She actually took her science book and threw it in the creek, watched it float down. Yours are the good ages. Well, I don't know about the 13. I always called mine when they hit 13 that they were dumpster children, and I was going to go back and get them when they were 21. But yeah, it was like threw the book in the creek, watched it float down. I had to pay for a book, and then as an adult, what does she do? She is a ninth grade science teacher. I was like, really, for real? I said, you wanted to be a science teacher. Well, happy birthday. Is it today? Today? Happy birthday, girl. Congrats. Congratulations. Yeah, I got one's birthday is in April. Daughter's adopted daughter's in April. I think she's like April 5th. And then my daughter is March 21st. And then my son is June 10th. Now, granted, my children never wanted to come out. They decided they wanted to stay in there forever. Forever. My son was supposed to have been born May 12th. He's supposed to have been born on Mother's Day. No, he hangs out, and that's just before they would induce you. You know, back then they didn't induce you. You just got to be tortured, torment, all that. And so he's hanging out, and I'm in active labor for like 2 weeks, like 3 minutes apart. 2 weeks. Do they do anything? No. So I mean, I'm like in actual labor for 2 weeks. I'm overdue by a month, you know. And it was to the point that my mom finally just was like, I'm not taking her back home. Y'all gonna keep her. Because I mean, I was like 2.5 minutes apart then. And they're like, well, she still ain't doing. I'm like, would y'all do something? Now you'd be a pit drip and it'd be like on. But yeah, not back then. It's like, yep. And then my daughter was due February 29th. She was supposed to have been a leap year baby. And she didn't come out until March 21st. So she hung around for a few extra weeks. I was just like, good God, don't want no more. Don't want no more, no more, no more, no more. Because I mean, it was like, for real, y'all just get in there. You don't want to come out. Hi, Carrie. The link is in Nix's mod chat if you want to come in, or at the very beginning of the room. I was looking on that bulk apothecary, and I couldn't find the bottle, but I did find some bottles, but I looked somewhere else. And it's like, then I need to get the little dropper bottles. Okay, no problem. Just listen. Way a lot of work to do. That's right, you got those two wholesale orders. I'm burning your candle right now. Which one is it? It is the Lakeside Night. I was sitting here going, why is this? I smell something really good. And then I was like, oh, I got a candle burning. I actually found a zero sugar A&W cream soda. So that was kind of cool. So I was like, yes, because I like the zero sugar things. No, they're good. And then I've started collagen again. Y'all be able to tell me if my skin changes, if it gets better, you know, more plump. But started it back this week. And it's chocolate cake collagen. So I put it in my coffee in the morning and have like a chocolatey cake coffee. Because that's yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, I remember what it was now, Sandy. It was oh Lord, it just left. What is the name of that stuff? Uh uh. uh. That's crazy. I mean, it was just in my brain. Well, I know I ordered it. Oh my other phone don't want to open. Um, it was feverfew, chamomile, lemongrass. That's what it was. And lemongrass, and that's the ones I bought to put together. Yep. So getting all that stuff together, and then I'll start concocting stuff. Oh, there you go. Just take pen. That's the book. Okay. That's what I'm gonna put my recipes in. And then it's got a little lock on it. And then you just open it up and it's gonna be my little recipe book. You wanna know something funny? Okay. This is all of my round bling. That's all around bling I have. That's it. And then you saw that one I did the other day, and it's like the 12-piece set of square bling. Yeah, I think lemon balm, a dandelion. I can do dandelion. I got dandelion around here like nobody's business. Don't have no burdock. And that's what I thought this kind of looked like. So it's like it was under grimoire. I thought that's kind of cool. But it's kind of cool. Well, see, that's what this is like a small grimoire. It's like leather bound and the cool pages. I write pretty tiny, so I figured that would work. And then they were like, these two people I watch are really cool. They're really cool. I don't know how came across them, but they were like just going through their herbs and going, "Well, I need to work on," because with the herb they were saying they were showing that you really learn your systems. You learn what works on what problems. And they were like, "Well, we're wanting to work on a little of this today and work on a little of this today," and they're just throwing stuff in there. And then they're like mixing it up, and they're going, "We can have some tea now." Oh wow. I need to get, well, I just don't know if Vicky is that crafty. And other than that, out here, I just really don't know anybody. Because I'm like out in the stickies, sticks, super sticks. And, it's really amazing. It's getting a little better around here. Because, with being a Southern Baptist, it used to be really bad, but it is getting better. It is getting better. I mean, my rock store is still standing in Conway, and evidently there's quite a few in Russellville because they're almost, where it's got a little group of them that meet. So yeah, it's hard to teach though online. It's like, ugh. But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna look in the Herbal Academy. And I actually have a Wiccan Academy, but it's more not for the Wiccas. It's for the crystals and the kitchen witch kind of stuff and stuff like that. Learning your moon phases and what to look for, and then of course my little elf Cindy need to tell my little elf to bring my stuff back. She says it's not an elf though. She says she don't think it's an elf. I think it's a pain in the butt because they thieve your property. So a little thief needs to bring back my stuff. That's weird. Oh man. I think I'm gonna change that little face up there. She just don't look right. I could change it for my Counselor Troy face. Because I did at one time actually look a lot like Counselor Troy, and I did it in that cartoony face, and it came out actually looking like a cartoony Counselor Troy. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. Okay, I will have to do that. I will definitely have to do that. I was like, "What?" That was Diamond Painted Grandma. But it came it was like come flying across the phone. It's like, "What?" Because I forget that it comes across that phone so well. Now finally, I think I've found all my drills, got all my drills done. I can go take them back in the room now, and I can take those other 2, 3 packages that I found what they go to. The big blue book, huh? I will have to find out what the big blue book is, 'cause I don't have the big blue book. I have the Green Witch, and I have the 5,000 spell book, which that thing's massive too. So I'm gonna end up with 2 shelves of books. I'm gonna have all my witchy pagan books over here, and all my herbal books over here. Nice. Now I had some that were like from early 1900s, and they were nursing books, and I don't know what happened to them. They disappeared. They are gone. And like the stores I've been looking in, because I've looked in a couple. When I'm looking through their stuff. I don't ever see any interesting books. It's like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. And I don't know about you, but I find having to read on my phone or the Kindle harder than reading a regular book. But then I don't think, well, I used to do the same thing because I would fall asleep in the bathtub reading a book and then wake up to my book floating. Well, if I do it with my phone, I wake up to my phone laying in the bottom of the water. And I was just lucky that my phone was the waterproof to 50 feet. Well, I'm the honest to God truth. It really is. It is honestly waterproof, at least a four, 3 or 4, because it would be in the bottom of the jacuzzi but tub, just sitting down there going, "Hi, you dropped me." Yeah, I have Scott Cunningham. I do have him. And I have a couple of crystal books, and I do have a couple of herb books, and then I have Scott Kent Cunningham and a couple of others. Man, I've got like one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those books, and so far one herb book. Well, two, because one of those is an herb book. But I can't. I'm gonna check that book and see if I actually wrote any of my recipes in. Because that would have been nice if I had wrote my recipes in it. Oh, got another sizzle coming up. Pulling up the link you sent me. It is a big blue book. Wow. And I would just get, I'm just going to get the paperback because I'll be darned if I'm going to put it on my Kindle because then I sit there and I always forget. See if it's signing me in. No, I don't think I have that. I don't think I have that one. Amazon's going to be going, "You're getting smart," because I've been buying books like crazy. Well, I'll be able to look in here and tell you who I picked up. Because I mean, I picked up quite a few of the herbal ones. You see, I have, what's this one? Oh, I have medicinal. I have rosemary glad stars, medicinal herbs. And then I have, and that's this one. That one. And then I have this one coming. The Herbal Medicine Maker's Handbook. That one. And oh, don't go away. I need you to actually figure out I can see you. This one is 175 teas, tonics, oils, salves, tinctures, and other natural recipes. And that's this one. Keep remembering. Try and get, hey, that one worked good. And then I have more herbs coming in. This one. This massive, huge one. That one. And then there's one other. Yep, this one. So, I mean, I have the books. Make sure I did that. Amazon Free Day. Wow. I see. I was in the school and I got like so far in and then quit. But that was like when I was railroaded into quitting because it was like back 20 something years ago, and I worked for a Baptist facility and they just was like flipping out. And actually, it was just I had a necklace on, and they saw the necklace, and they were just flipping out. It was just like, really, y'all are just so stupid. So people are crazy. People are dumb. They're just not very open minded. They just, I mean, it was like, wow. And I don't remember what it was. It wasn't even like a pentagram or anything. But it definitely. Oh, I did order the blue book, so get the big blue book. But it was like, yeah, but I figured maybe this could help. Of course, it's just another big rabbit hole. Big rabbit hole because herbs are not cheap. And I kind of hate that I got rid of mine because, yeah, they're not cheap. That's a good one. The Star of David. Just like, yeah. Well, if they actually researched it, they'd flip out because they'd find out a lot of theirs is from that. So it's like, yeah. So far today, I have had 2 pieces of toast and peanuts. That's been my food for the day. So I'm trying to think of what I would eat when I get off. But I thought it was really cool because, I graduated. Everybody graduated from um, sleep school. I was having to see a sleep doctor, and I was having to write the sleep diary every night, and we did it over the phone. Okay, and so we literally had to space by space by space by space. I had to tell him what I did, and then when we were done, he was like, "Well, you really do not have insomnia." He said, "When you go to bed at the right time for your body, you go to sleep." And he goes, "And you sleep 7, 8, 9 hours." He said, "The only thing is your body evidently doesn't get tired till 3:30 in the morning. Because anytime I went to bed earlier than 3:30, it would take me longer to fall asleep. Um, Sometimes I wouldn't even fall asleep. I'd sit there and just finally get up." So he's like, "You're not supposed to go to bed till you're tired." He said, "So if you're not tired, don't go to bed. When you're tired, go to bed." So it was like, okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get some of my house stuff where it's kind of visible from outside. But my dad don't care. I mean, they just call it my voodoo stuff. Like when I went over there and made my herbal salve that one time, and they were like, "What's that god awful smell?" Because this kind of stink. And they were just like, "She's making her voodoo crap." And I used to tell my mom, when she was be hurting really bad, I would say, "Go lay up against a tree, lean up against a tree." I said, "Just sit, lean up against a tree and relax and let it help heal you. You'll feel better." Because I mean, I'm just reading up on that where how you can actually do that and it can help. And they were just looking at me like I was nuts. Nowadays, I think with some of these trees, I would take insecticide and spray them first. Check them for snakes, spray them for ticks. Because it's like I'm not about that. Don't want no ticks. Don't want no creepies, no crawlies, no ticks, no spiders, no chiggers, none of that stuff. Because when they bite you, that shit lasts forever. I mean, I had to make a herbal spray for chigger bites because I was just miserable and itching, and I mean, literally, I was itching myself to death. And I mean, I was sitting there, and I would just finally start spraying that stuff from top to bottom just to relieve the itch. And I mean, it came up with some pretty good stuff. And I did make this, and it really does work. It really does work. Got rid of the flies, the mosquitoes, which I don't blame them. I guess I would go to. But it was you take 2 beers and mouthwash and salt and put it all together and let it sit until the salt dissolves. And then you put it in a spray bottle and just spray it around outside and they'll go away. They go away. But I think this year I might try to do, so you've heard about the tree too. And I just kept telling her, I said, "Just go sit up, just go lean up against the tree. Put your feet on the ground, lean in the tree." But I mean, I'm thinking about make taking my peppermint leaf and making some peppermint oil and putting it in and using it for a spray. Is T-Ma in here? Nah, I don't see her. I don't see no Tina. But yeah, I mean, it was like just sit up against a tree. It helps. But someone was talking about how peppermint spray will help, like peppermint oil spray, and I thought, well, if that does, yeah. Oh, she popped in and then went and her message disappeared. That's crazy. Hi, Tima. Hey, hey. I got all your stuff put away. I'm waiting for the next round. I got a whole drawer empty, except for, except for. These are my round blings. This is pitiful, isn't it? Isn't that pitiful? That's the equivalent of my round blingity blings. Yeah, they're pretty pitiful. I was like, oh, that's pitiful. Especially when you look at my squares, it's just like, ah. That's why when I did that one round, I actually put squares in it. Hi, Tink. No problem. You can lurk. But yeah, it was like I have actually taken round metallics and crystals and put them on a round or square metallic crystals and put them on a round painting. It was like, yeah, no one would get close enough to see it. It looked fine. I did that with autumn puppies because I didn't have any round to put in their eyes and I wanted something in their eyes, so I was using squares. Yeah, because it's not like the mystery kits. The mystery ones I got, like that one, that's the giveaway. That one is just Amazon, I guess, takes a box and puts 12 paintings in it, and you have no clue what they're going to be. And then when they get there, you open them up. Now, you also have, now Diamond Art Club has changed theirs up a bit. Theirs used to be just black and white. And now, yeah, I put squares in rounds. That would really kill Nyx. She'd be like, "What are you doing?" But I sit there and the ones for the new ones on Diamond Art Club, because the black and white ones are kind of easy if you've got good spatialization where you can figure out what they are. And so what they started doing is they just started randomly like putting a light blue, a yellow, and a white and just randomizing all over. So you don't see any set pattern. It's just like it just throws your eyes off. Yeah, and then Tmos also got the little sparklers, which are round. They're actually round and they go in a square spot because they're small for squares, but they're round. Those are the ones that throw Nyx off. She's like, "No, you can't put round in squares." I do it all the time because you really don't notice it. Once you get all the drills on there, you don't notice it. I mean, like, unless you're like right here, you don't notice it. Ooh, you're doing something. Yeah. Oh, I did not know you had mystery ones, Timo. I mean, mine, they're all mystery because once I pull it off, I'll sit there and slap them release papers on there real quick and don't know what it was. But yeah, I've done square because on the autumn puppies, no one noticed it. There was a couple places I wanted a certain color. I think it was the chestnut and the other one, and they came in like November's drill pack. And so I wanted to put those in it, and so I just used the squares. Because I was like, I'm not going to go buy the round because I didn't have. I mean, because all my round stuff is like my stash, which is AliExpress and a bunch of 30 by 40s. Oh, mystery bags. Okay. And I think wasn't that just for the Ticket to Ride people? I have more problems keeping my round straight than I do keeping my square straight, believe it or not. I put these rounds on there and I'll go back and they'll be like this. And I they're straight as a whip. I was like, y'all just kill me. But yeah, it's like squares. And my trick when I first started, I mean, I don't have a problem now, but when I first started, I would either take credit cards or a ruler, just something straight, and put it along the border of your canvas. And I would do 3 rows up against that straight edge, down the side, across the bottom, and then after that, yeah. I'm becoming known for my bling, Tma, because I bling everything. Everything. I mean, even that poor little frog got some bling. I don't think you can really tell it, but in front of the frog is a female frog and she's hugging the frog. Well, her little toes are all red, so I made them red I think I made them 321. So the red 321 ABs. And then I put Raven sparklers in the fishing rod. I mean, so it's like you never know what's going to be where. And then that winter landscape from AliExpress, it was a hurricane. I sit there and put all kinds of bling in that sucker. Nope, no canvas is safe. So yeah, no canvas is safe. It's like, oh, I got something I can throw there. In fact, on this one, and this one's around, I wanted some sparklers on there somewhere, and I threw some sparklers in there. And it's got some rhinestones in it. It's like even my specials, if I can find something that'll fit, it goes on there. Ooh, are you in school at Tink? Or for take your son to school? Yeah, that is kind of crazy. There's none? Wow. Yeah. I think I would actually just get some. I would actually, it's a square, is it round or square? 'Cause I was gonna say, I'd just order from Tmon, or whoever's over there that you have to use, and maybe do some metallics or something. But, if you could get them like, from Tmon, it wouldn't take forever. I mean, you could order them from Tmon and get some metallics. She's got some rockin' reds. Oh, yeah, hat goes off to you, Tink. Hat goes off to you. I ran my son off last night because he called and he was griping about something about someone was throwing condoms out. And I just sat there and said, hey, I'd rather have them be thrown out and teach them how to use them than end up having kids before they should. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. And he was gone. And I was like, do you not realize what I had to teach to graduate from college? And that was back when you were a kid. It was like, Lord. I was like, y'all so tender nowadays. 'Cause that was, what, 30 years ago? And 30 years ago, before there was even a computer, they made us go into like a ninth grade class and teach these kids how to put condoms on bananas. Yeah, from other canvases or even from Lord, like special drills. If you keep the rhinestones, anything. But yeah, he was just like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." But yeah, that was kind of funny because he was just like, going on. He's so funny. He is so funny. Because I was like, because I keep telling him, I said, you need to like sit down and really have the talk with your son, because the son is dating. He's 16. I said, but you need to, at least, have an open discussion with him, touch base. I said, because I know what you were doing at that age. But can you get them to do it? No. And I was like, if he's got kids, I don't want to be babysitting no great gangrene kids. So are you teaching Tink or just helping them or what are you doing with the kids? Oh, she's in nursing school? Oh. Girl, run. I mean, girl, run if you're in nursing school. Good Lord. Oh, okay. All right. Not in school. All right. Because man, I was gonna give you some hugs and some love and some. You saw what I did about my nursing. I did bad day at the office. Did you not see that film that picture? Yeah, that was. I'm telling you, that's what for. Yeah, my senior. Yeah, my senior project that I had to do was I had to go teach a whole class of ninth grade boys how to put condoms on bananas. I was just like, this is unreal. And I had to drive 50 miles each way to do it. And you talk about feeling intimidated? I felt intimidated. I felt intimidated by all these ninth grade boys. I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this. I was like, I was almost embarrassed. I was embarrassed. You wouldn't think you could embarrass someone by that, but I was embarrassed. Like, how do we have to do this? And it was like, oh Lord. Yeah, I'm just, just done with that. I have to say, once I got over letting my nursing license go bye bye, I've actually dealt quite well with it. It took a little bit come to terms with it, but now that I've come to terms with it, I'm pretty chill with it. Yeah, I gotta put another load in. It's like another load of laundry. It's like, oh, oh, and the man came. The man came the day before all the snow hit. The man came, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you can have the 15-inch around." He says, but we're going to have 24 foot. So I have to put a 24-foot culvert to cover a 10-foot bridge. I mean, because the bridge is coming out and we're going to put the culvert and then they're going to put gravel over it, and make a thing that you can drive over. So it was 10 feet wide. No one ever fell off of it, drove off of it, missed it, whatever. But now I've got to buy a 24-foot long piece of pipe to put in place of my 10-foot bridge. Does that make any sense? I mean, does that make sense? Other than it was like another $80. But I was just like, fine, I'll call and just ask if I can pay the difference. So, and he goes, well, I don't know how long it'll be because I think they don't have them. I said, well, I'll call you back and let you know. And I called the guy and was like, can I just pay the difference? And he's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, here, it's $78. And I was like, paid, I'll call him. You got it? And he said, I got it. I said, I'll call him, let him know you got it. So they should be out in the next, probably next week. I was like, well, do I got to take the bridge out or can you take the bridge out? They were like, well, what kind of bridge is it? I was like, it's wood. It is made out of wood. That's what the problem is. The wood's finally saying, we don't want to be here no more. So it's wood. And they were like, oh, yeah, we can just grab that with the backhoe or whatever thing is, the claw thingy, and just rip it right out of there. And I'm like, good, that works. That way we can just drag it over to the burn pile. As once they pull it off, my dad can just be there with the tractor. They can dump it in his bucket and then he can just haul it down there and dump it in the thing. But I was just like, I mean, you would think that something that's double the size your bridge would be enough, but nope. They were like, well, someone might miss it and crunch the edge. And I'm sitting there going, no one's ever drove off of this thing. No one's ever missed it. So it's like, you just can't win. You cannot beat them. You just got to go with it and say, okay, whatever. I do it. Now I did get good news because I got my stuff in from my disability. And it was like, take this amount and then you gotta times it by 50%, like the 0.50%. And whatever that comes out as is what you put down as your taxes. And if it's less than this much, you don't have to pay taxes. Well, it was less than that much. And I was just like, oh, thank you, Lord. So I was like, 'cause I was freaking. Because, they don't take taxes out of that stuff. So I was like, kind of freaking there a little bit. But yeah, because the way they did mine, they gave me a year and a half's worth because they went back even like 8 months before what I applied for. So it was like I ended up getting almost a year and a half's worth of it. And so it was like next year I won't have near as much money come in, so I won't have to worry about it. Whereas this month they dumped that whole lump sum in there. And I was just like, oh crap. It was a crapazoid. So yeah. It was like, easy. And let me tell you, my VA thing. Okay, this appointment. It was comical. Number one, Cindy, I got on your live and I forgot. I forgot. I mean, I knew I had it. I had it all set up, and then I forgot. Got involved, and then I was like, "Oh crap!" And so that was when I was saying I was on phone call. Well, I kept trying to connect with them. Well, about the time I was trying to connect with him, he gave up and quit. And so by then I'm like freaking out because I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, couldn't get a hold of him. So I finally sent a text message to the system of saying, I tried, he wasn't there. And about that when I gave up on that one, he called me. And I was like, oh, thank God you called because I didn't want to get marked down as not a no call, a no show because they get kind of persnickety about that. So I was like not wanting to get, dinged for no show. and no call. So I was like, ooh. So yeah, he called, and that's how I ended up doing when I told you I was on the phone. I was actually in the phone call for that. Ah, that was weird. It went all the way to the top. You get all the way to the bottom. Oh, I really went all the way to the top. To the top. Let's go to the bottom. Well, we're not going to go to the bottom? No, it just wants to stay at top. That's weird. Let me try this. It's like it's the chat went all the way there. Okay. Now it's at the bottom. I was like, what in the world was wrong with that? But yeah, so we got that fixed. So far we've had snow. I'm getting my bridge fixed because my bridge, I mean, it's 9.5 years old and it's made out of wood. And so in the middle of between where the two tires go, there's two boards that have literally, they're like breaking in half. And so I was like, okay, that's kind of like not good. Then I noticed at the end of it, where you drive up on it, literally that board has broke and rotted out. And so it's kind of like you go down, go up, and then the sides popping off because of that. So it was like, yeah, it was crazy. It went all the way to the top, all the way top. And I kept trying to bring it down, and it kept going all the way to the top. It was like in perpetual, I want to be at the top. And it was like, no, you're not going to be at the top. But yeah, that was so it's like I kept telling my dad, I said, we really need, and I didn't know where to go. I mean, was part of it. I did not know where to go. He said the co-op, and I knew there was like three in town. So I was like, what co-op? You know, where at? The co-op. I'm like, well, no. And so finally I had him drive me into the co-op. So we got to the co-op and bought the tile, and I also bought the dogs their rabies and their vaccines for the year, which took a day for them to get over that little incident because they didn't like their shots. But yeah, I told him, I said, I really, and he was like not paying attention, I guess. Then he really got to know. He's like, "Ooh, yeah." He's like, "There's a hole there, and that's coming apart, and there's a hole over there." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's on its last little leg. It's yeah, it's ready to be done. It's getting kind of scary driving over this thing." Hi, crafty chef. But I was like, "Yeah, it's getting kind of scary driving over this thing. You got holes in the middle, and over here it like pops up, and there's a hole there, and yeah." So I was like, "Yeah, well, got to do something. Got to do something because it's like a moat." And it was like, it's not like I can get rid of it and drive up here, because if I did that, then it's like pretty good deep hole. I mean, it's about 2 feet deep, so it was like you can't drive through it. So yeah, it's like that was a world of fun. And then I wouldn't do like a friend of mine, he was down here and he parked his camper on my land for a while. And it was so funny. And my brother, he said, I never laughed so hard as I did that day. He said, because the guy had bought the $60,000 dually truck, right? And he parks the trailer, and why was he even going that way? I don't know why he was going that way, but he's backing up to it, and he backs up into a tree. A tree. Back smooth up into a tree. Got a big old dent in the back of eh, his fender and the tailgate. And let me tell you, them tailgates nowadays, they be expensive. It's not like the old timey tailgates. It cost him, I think his repair bill was like $4 or $5,000 just to fix like a fender and a bumper and a tailgate. And it had to be a special bumper and a special tailgate. And I was just like, Yeah, and I was like, "How long you gonna keep this car?" Because he was like a rotate a car person. It's like he'd have one car, keep it for, 6 months, and then go get another new one. Well, that one lasted 4 months. He decided that his $1,000 truck payment was a little bit too much. I was like, well, yeah, you're the one that wanted $1,000 truck payment. It was like, I could have told you that was too much. I was like, yeah. Ooh, cake. Yes, cake. Cake. Yum cake. Because her cake, I bet you, is much better than these mug cakes. Because hers is cake. The mug cakes are just the angel food cake and a cake mix and mixed with water, so there's no egg in it. You don't bake it, nothing. Just throw it in the mug and zap it for a minute. And I'm the one that decided I was going to start throwing a tablespoon of icing on it just to make it like a pretend cake. You feel like it's a cake because you get a little icing. So people are like, why you got a tub of icing in your refrigerator? Okay, Tima, I will see you during your lives. I love your lives, even though they get me in trouble. But yeah, it's like if you take Angel Food cake mix, and you can take any flavor cake mix you want. So, German chocolate, strawberry, spice, whatever, banana, whatever floats your boat. And then you just take the Angel Food and cake mix and you mix them together. And then you put 3 tablespoons of that, 2 tablespoons of water, and then microwave it for a minute. And you have cake. And I had decided I prefer it at 45 seconds instead of a minute in my microwave because evidently my microwave is a little bit too good. And so it actually gets super microwaved and gets kind of like harder and more dried out. And so I don't like it that dry. So I do it for like 45 seconds and I'm like perfectly happy with it. So, yep. And then you can put your little frosting on it and then you're good. I've even figured out that if I take the frosting out and let it sit at room temperature while it's microwaving and I'm making it all, that by the time I get to it, it's soft and, it's good. And so it's like cake minus the eggs and the oil. I was watching the Calm commercial. It's like, stay calm. Yeah, Cindy, I have got the pink butterfly down in that left bottom corner done. And I got the little blue one over on the other side at the top and a purple one in the middle, and now I'm working on all the flowers. I love German chocolate cake. Ugh, that is my fave. And my girlfriend that I used to work with would make it homemade and would make homemade the the frosting. I crafting with the she would make the homemade frosting. So yeah. Okay, for all you people that are coming in and it's been later, I guess I need to pull this thing. I might as well just leave it out for the whole thing. This is the one that is for February's giveaway. And the reason I'm bringing it out now is so that you guys can see it at the end of this video. Put me, please, if you're interested in it. And then I'll draw the wheel and ship it out. There you go. It's a 30 by 40. I'm trying to put it straight. Now, it does not have any DMC colors. It's like the one to whatever. Um, it's cord glue. It's very sticky, and it's mostly color blocking for you people that love color blocking. So just remember when this closes, to go down to the comments and put me, please, and then I will pick them and spin it and ship them out. it will go out there. And Arietta, thank you for the blue book link. And then Sandy, I am definitely gonna go check out that site. Definitely. Because I think that might be the one I was looking at, that it's like you can either do it per course, or there's one that you can do it per course, or $50 a month and it's like $300 course. So, yeah. And I can't remember which one it was I did before, because when I got my last one, because you did the course and you had the homework, and it would be, you'd get the stuff and you'd have to type all this stuff up and put it in, send it off, and oh, excuse me, and then send it off, and um they would have you like make stuff. That was when I was making the salves and doing some tincture work, and made some kind of cough concoction, if I remember. It had like oranges and honey and lemons, and I think garlic in there. And you soaked it for so long, and then would take a tablespoon when you had a cough. Yeah, you whenever it closes. So like whenever the live's over, just go back in and put me, please. But yeah, those that's I mean, it's a really nice painting. Fell in love with it. Fell in love with it. And like last time I sat there, like the day before I drew, I kind of put a little community post up of make sure you go do your me please. Man, does anyone follow TJ's pins? I me please both of those last ones. Did I win? No. No. But they were both pretty. Both pretty. My K and S should be coming in pretty soon. The beautiful flight, the one that was like the silver blue with the butterflies on it. And then I had Love and Sparkles put on it. And it's the quick pickup. So yeah, that should be coming anytime. I had ordered it about the time that they had the family emergency. So they got as far as they got the label printed, and then the emergency hit. So it was like, okay, I understand. Understand. I do good at waiting. And then my buddy art canvas is in Chicago. Changing over to it got handed over to UPS, and UPS hadn't signed it. And how it could be coming from the UK, and then it ends up in Chicago in customs. It's like, really? Okay, whatever. I guess that's where the plane stopped. Oh no. Oh no. But okay. Like, we'll go with it. It's like I don't argue with nothing anymore, because if you just go nuts if you try. Just go nuts if you try. Just roll with the flows. Roll on down the river with the flow, because otherwise you're gonna go bonkers. Bonkers, bonkers, bonkers. Wow. Wonder if I could get in there with the phone. No, because it'd make noise. So when I get off there, I'll probably pop it open for just a minute so I can change my little girl's face. Because the picture I need is in the phone, which sucks. Because I can't get to a picture in the stupid laptop to save my freaking life. It puts them in crazy order, and I live in the middle of Arkansas. Smack dapping in the middle. But yeah, it's like, oh my lord. Okay, crafty witch. Do you have a Google Doc or anything that we need to fill out that I need to try to find, or just that's okay. I don't want to leave it up there. No, well, like this time of year we might, but not. I mean, this is weird because it was like 60 degrees a couple of days ago, and then it's like Mother Nature's just been crazy. I mean, like last year we didn't get any, and let me see, what year was it when I had the major surgery? 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And 2.5 years ago, we got a foot and a half because I got stuck at my daughter's forever. You're in Arkansas, Crafty with me? Where are you at? I live north of Morrilton. People might know where Morrilton. They don't know where I'm at because I'm in Hattieville, and everyone's like, "Where's that?" Or I could say I'm next to Jerusalem because I really do live 3 miles from Jerusalem. That really throws them. Ah, you're near Fort Smith. You're near where the cool stuff is. I know where that is. I remember we went. I had to take. I worked in the cath lab, and they decided everyone had to have um, T. What was it? RCIS, Registered Cardiac Interventionalist Specialist, which is mostly for the scrub techs to show they were specialized in their scrubbing. Well, so I mean, I had to learn all their crap as far as being able to take a test on it, and then some of the nursing stuff. And so I went and took this test, and it was like 200 questions, and it was god awful. And I studied like crazy, and it was like having to know their images and their settings on their machine and this crazy stuff. Because it was like when it came down to the nursing stuff, I was like, yeah, I got this. But when it came down to that and like, what's the inside of a such and such wire made of? And I was like, frick, wire, I don't know. It was like for real. And I'm not up there like for the groin access wrist, I could tell you because it's like right up there by my face. But down there in the groin, when they're working in the groin, well, I don't see that because I'm not up in there. That's them two right there. But I was having to say, well, here's the spot, and I was having to mark it with X's. And I come out of that test. I mean, I knew I passed because it was one of those you hit the button. So I kind of hit the button like this, I had my eyes closed and covered and hit the button and then cracked the finger because I mean, I was a wreck. I was a wreck. And so we come out of there, and I was still married at the time. And I literally walked out to the car and looked at my ex and said, "Did you find a liquor store in this town?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "Go there now." And so we went to the liquor store, and I went in, I bought a bottle of wine. And he's like, "You can't drink that all the way home." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because I don't want an open bottle in the car." I told him, "Go back to the liquor store." And he said, "Why?" And I went and bought the big, gigantic Arkansas woohoo mug, Woo Peak Suey cup thing. And I poured that whole bottle of wine in that cup, and threw the bottle away. And I said, "Okay, now you don't have an open bottle." I said, "And they won't know what the heck I'm drinking." And he was like, "You cannot get out of the car, no matter where we stop. You're not getting out of the car." And I was like, "No problem," because I was like mentally toast. That test was awful. I mean, as it was like the month prior, I had gone up and taken a 2-day review course of like slam bang, stuffing all this stuff in your head. And then just studied and studied and studied and studied and studied. And about the only parts I really had problems with was the parts that were nothing that I deal with. So yeah, someday we'll have to hook up and like plan on meeting in the middle, or I'll just go to Fort Smith or whatever. Because I think I'm only like 2.5 hours from Fort Smith. Because I worked in Clarksville and it was an hour, which is right near Ozark. So I know everybody there came from Fort Smith. Because for some reason I had the crazy idea that, oh, I only have 5 years left to work. I'll go work in a little hospital. It won't be as nerve wracking as these big hospitals. I don't know who I was fooling or what I was drinking. Now, you work in Clarksville? I worked at Clarksville Regional, but that hospital be banging. And I worked harder there than I worked in a lot of big hospitals. I mean, for real, because I was having it was crazy because in the big hospitals, if you're on a back floor, you're on a back floor. If you're on a leg floor, you're on a leg floor. If you're on a belly floor, you're on a belly floor. That hospital was an everything floor. There was one floor for everything, including kids. And I could have an infant, a toddler, a couple surgeries, and an old person bouncing off the walls all at the same time. Yeah, so see, I'm like right at an hour, 55 minutes. I know that one for sure because I know, yeah. Wow. I remember I sat there and I went the back way and was going to the Lamar because that was back when I was selling my nails. Now, when y'all win a prize, not these prizes, but like when I do the prizes for the events, I throw in 4 to 8 packs of Color Street nails. You just get nail happy. But it was like I would sit there and drive. I was mailing them out. I had people who were still doing subscriptions to where it was like they wanted so many a month and they would pay a set fee. And so I was mailing them out. Well, I mailed them out. Okay, this is how crazy it was. So I mail them out. And of course, this is when COVID was starting. One girl was in Jonesboro and it took a month for her nails to get from like the Warrenton area to Jonesboro. The other girl lived down in like Glenwood. Well, hers came back after about 3 weeks. Hers came back saying address undeliverable, and it was a post office box. I was like, I know that box is still there. So I ended up just taking her nails, and I left a little sticker, and I took it to the Lamar post office. And I sit there, and I was like, it says it's undeliverable, but it's a post office. I said they didn't even try to. I said, "It hadn't been processed, it hadn't been stamped, it hadn't been ran, it had nothing." She goes, "Nope, it hadn't." She peeled off that sticker. She goes, "You're good." And she stamped it. And she goes, "It has been now," and put them in. I don't know what they did with those for 3 weeks. But then it's in the back that a post office box didn't exist. I thought that is crazy, crazy, crazy. And then as I was coming out of that, because our post office is down in that little hole, you have to kind of go up. Well, I was in my Camaro. My Camaro weighs a freaking ton. It's solid steel. It's 94. So and it's got the big, big boom engine. And so I'm going to have to if I give that car gas, it like makes noise. And so, hi, Peggy. I sit there and I was like, okay, so I got to give it gas to get out of the parking lot. And when I did, minute I did, and they went, boom. Two cops were sitting over there and these blue lights pop on. And they pull me over. And the cop comes up and he's looking around and he goes, "I was just checking to see if you had alcohol or drugs in there." I looked at him. I'm in my scrubs. I had my stethoscope on. I looked at him and I said, "No, man, I am fresh out. I gave him all the way today at work." And he looked at me for a minute and then he realized I was a nurse and he was like, "Oh, okay. Gotcha." He was saying, "Well, how far you got to go?" And I told him, I said, "An hour." And he was like, "Well, I'll let you go then, so you can get home in time." And I was just like, I've just been profiled. I have been smooth profiled. My son was like, "Yeah, Mom, don't you know you drive a tweaker car?" I was like, "Why is a Camaro a tweaker car?" He was like, he said, "Yeah, all the muscle cars now are tweaker cars." I said, "Evidently, because They just saw a Camaro and sound and was like, "We're pulling it over." I mean, because I didn't do anything. I just pulled out of a parking lot. It was like, stupid. But to walk up and be looking around looking for drugs and alcohol, it's like, yeah, if I had some, I'd be hiding it. It's nice to see you, Peggy. I haven't seen you in here before. We're here every Wednesday, so I hope you have fun. Thinking about, I think maybe next week, if I can maybe look for getting some like trivia cards, like play trivia, if anyone's up to it. Most of the time I'm painting, so I don't want to be, well, and of course I type, like I do the two finger typing like this. And so I type really slow. And by the time I've typed one word, everyone else is done. So it's like, ah, man. I mean, literally, by the time I've got something typed out, everyone else is like done. It's like, really? For real? I'm just gonna paint. I just gonna dime paint. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna dime paint. And see this little contraption here jumped over in the top chat. There we go. Now we're in live chat. So yes, are you still in here, Cindy? Cindy, you still here? Hello. Hello. Cindy, you still here? Cindy was saying she wanted to see the herbally stuff. So if everyone wants to see herbally stuff, I'll start like one day a week doing herbally stuff. Hi, Sandy. Sandy's here. I know Sandy would want to see herbally stuff, and then plus she could actually tell me if I'm doing it right or wrong. Now on my teas, I've actually got ounces, like so many ounces of this, and so many. This is for the allergy tea, and I definitely don't want to get those ratios off because I don't want to be having a blown out reaction. So, do I just put my container on the scale and then zero it, and then put in the how many ounces? Because I can imagine there's a couple in there that are going to make me go nuts. But if I can desensitize without having to go back to doing shots, I'd be ecstatic. And I know at one time I was seeing an ENT doctor, and he was like, "Oh, well, I can actually do it with drops under your tongue, and we'll start out with low dose and go up." And so we were doing that, and then all of a sudden, insurance was like, "We're not going to pay for that again." And shot people would, "Yeah, you got to start out." I mean, my shots when I first started out was like 2 shots every 2 days, and it was like, "Yeah, I'm not down for that again." 'Cause, yeah. Mm. And then my daughter's, she's finally up to maintenance, and she reacts to her shot still so bad her arm swells up, turns red, and the whole 9 yards, but, they have her on, like, 4 Claritin. She takes 4 Claritin and 4 Claritin or Zyrtec, one or the other, but 4 of them a day, and then she's on Sudafed and Singulair and something else. I was just like, "Good God." It's like I was never on that much, but yeah. I mean, she literally, because she would have asthma, but it was due to her allergies when she ran down in Louisiana and the humidity, and they threw her out with asthma. And then when she got out of Louisiana and went running in the, pollen laden, you know, area in the heat, she was fine. And they were like, "Well, yeah, we're not gonna give you disability for your allergies because, yeah, you don't or your asthma, you don't have it." And she's like, "Will you just maybe get out of the military because I have it?" And she wasn't wanting out. She was wanting to go career, and so she was quite upset for quite a while, quite a while.
Yeah.
I love the gremlin. I love it. I love it. Love it. I've used the green one. Let me see if I can reach these over here. I have two so far. And I've been using the green one. And you just slide your little thing tab just slides straight up. And then you can slide your lid. The only thing I found it the hard way. There's a little bitty lip on the lid. Make sure that that lip is up when you go to slide it back in. Because if it's down, it won't slide in. It's like I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. Felt like a little fool. And so, yeah, that's my green one, the Hot Rod green. And then this is the blue one. And I think this is the color I picked for my event colors. I think this is the Mystic Blue Moon. And then I did shrimp boats because I was gonna. The venti is just so big. I mean, you could only after a while you get tired of having ventis because they're so big, and they're hard to work with. Like they're an inch tall. So I mean, most of us that have them use them just to hold our pins. And so what I did for us is shrimp trays. You see, I got a yellow one here. I got shrimp trays. So everyone would get a shrimp tech tray, and they're just going to do the Let Your Witch Goddess Free real small on the side. But shrimp trays for everybody for the weeklies. And then for the grand prize, it'll be a gremlin. Yeah, the tab comes up. And then there's just a little bitty, it's just, I mean, because I didn't even notice it the first time. So, I mean, that's how little it is. But it's just like a little bitty, let me see if I can get it to where you can see it. It is just little bitty. No, there, maybe. Right there. That right there. That little lip right there. That little bump. Make sure it's facing up. Yeah, the yellow one is Sassy Lemon, I think. I think that was. Do I need this many trays? No, I go for the colors. It's the colors. It's the colors. It's like a thing. It's the colors. Do you guys nearly need to go out that bad? You do? Okay, when you get, I'm gonna have to let them out. They're just being really crazy. I'll be right back. Okay, guys. Okay, let's go. Come on. Don't jump. Weigh 100 jump. There. Bye. They were gonna take no more of being told no. Yeah, we're done. You are letting us out now. Yeah, so that's what like this will be in the grand prize package, and then the shrimp trays will be in the weekly. And then if you go into her lives on Saturday, just look Nick Stark Sky on YouTube and look for her lives on Saturday. And when you're there, when she hits 50 likes, 50 thumbs ups, she'll do a giveaway and you can win a $25 gift certificate to her Sharp. The one I'm talking about is one I run, and then Cindy Michelle's going to actually co host with me. And it's called Let Your Witch Goddess Free. and it'll be 23 this year because you're 23, the second one. And basically, it can be anything witchy looking. I mean, it can be the pocus witches. It could be, something with a witch hat on. It can be whatever you want to, something that looks witchy to you. It can also be wizards. So, like the Merlin, they had a Merlin, couple of Merlin, I think, on Diamond Art Club canvases, or something that looks like a male witch. And then, a god, Thor, Apollo, any of those, anything. I'm doing druid, and I'm exactly use my druid for mine, but I'm already doing them. But any like he would work. Um, Goddesses, anything that looks like a goddess. Any J walls. I'm taking any J walls because hers have that goddessy, you know, spiritual feel. Any pagany feel to it, any spiritual feel to it. It's not, I mean, it's very open and wide range. I mean, just about anything works, so it's very open. This year I did open it to September and October. So you could actually do drills and chills, the Festival of Witches and my event all at the same time. And you just sit there and you have your photo of your kit being, blank canvas, not done, because mine doesn't have to be a new start, but I think theirs do. So if you're just doing mine, you don't have to have a new start. If you're doing theirs, I think you do. But that way you could have your new starts, take your pictures, and then mine is all you do to be eligible for each week is I will actually, because I have a Facebook group, it's actually open now if you want to go join it, which is just let your goddess free. And it's just open. You can go in there. I have some posts I put in there last year. One was everything you want to know about crystals. I mean, pretty much everything you want to know about a crystal, what they're good for, what they're made, what kind they are, what they do, everything. Everything you want to know about them. And then different definitions. But basically I'll sit there and put like post week 1. And then all you do is just put your week 1 progress post in there. And that gets you in the drawing for week 1. And then week 2, I'll do the same thing. I'll drop a new post. It'll say week 2, you know, and then a week 3, and then a week 4. And I'll just drop them like that each week. And at the end, the grand prize actually comes off of the Google Doc names. Because I do a Google Doc, and it's not like a big where you got to upload pictures or anything. No uploading pictures. No. All you got to do is put your name, your address, your email, ways for me to contact you, where to send your stuff. If you win, I mail it. I mail it to where you tell me. So as long as you put the right address, you'll get your stuff. So pretty simple, but it runs from September 1st to October 31st. So I'm actually doing 8 weeks this year instead of 4. And I mean, I've already got quite a few sponsors. I've got Nyx is doing trays. I've got uh, Pam doing. She did canvases last year, and Debbie Day did like little packs and some beautiful, like a 30 pack full of special drills. And I'm working with Tima, trying to work with Tima, and I'll probably contact Diamond Drills again. And Pam Hawley said she wants to do it again. So I've already got some repeat sponsors. So, and then I'll start trying to reach out to other ones and see what we can come up with. Nana's Crafty Gems is going to be in there again. She does cover minders. So, yeah, it'll be fun. Oh, yeah. I do more Facebook. I mean, yeah, I do more Facebook, but the group is in Facebook. and it's already open. I mean, it's just like if you go to type in "Let Your Witch Goddess Free" and it'll pop up. And just you can go straight in the Facebook group. And I've actually had 2 people join the Google Doc already. They've already decided what they're gonna do, they've already got their thing in. The only thing I'm doing different this year is if you put any bling in your canvas, when you do your picture, just take a picture and show your bling on your canvas, and you'll get you an extra name on the grand prize wheel. I know last year, the grand prize, it was like 10-pound box. It was, like, heavy. And I actually had some girls, they cracked me up. They really did, because they were like, "How'd you get this in this box? Because we can't make it go back." I was like, because like, I kinda pack like Jenga, you know? It's like, "Oh, a little bit here, and oh, can go there, and oh, can go there." So I pack like Jenga. So I do the same thing when I go grocery shopping. And they were, like, trying to put it back in the box, and they're like, "We can't make it go back in the box." So, and I actually had, someone actually volunteered, since it was witchy based, they made spell bottles. I mean, I thought that was pretty cool that, you could literally you would contact them and tell them what you wanted a spell bottle for, and they would actually put all the bottle and all the ingredients in and send everything to you so you could put your spell bottle together. I thought that was kinda cool. I was like, "That's kinda neat." So I thought, that was interesting. And, let me see. And, like, I still every now and then, if I come across a nice saying or a nice picture or something related to it, I'll drop it in the group because a lot of the girls are still in the group, so, you know, they just never really kinda left. So I just kinda and they all know that it's gonna be open again this year, so I imagine they'll be re-signing in. And I think I was kinda worried, but yeah, the only person that was international was someone in Canada. So I actually did ship to Canada. Hardest part about that was that customs form. I was like, "What? What is this?" I was like, "What is this?" Because everyone else was, like US based. And so it was like, then of course my printer was, I hated that. It sucked. Of course, it was like 4 years old. Well, evidently, like when I changed my router, because I changed internet. So, of course, it wasn't hooked to the internet anymore, and I was trying to rehook it. Well, it was like you have to pick your printer, and I kept looking for it. It wasn't supported anymore. So I couldn't put the printer back in because it wasn't supported. So it was like you could hardwire into it, but I was like, that'd be great if I was doing it off my computer and could hardwire into it, but I'm doing it off my phone. So me and it went around and around. And I finally just decided, okay, I am done. I called my son and was like, "You want a printer?" I said, "John's, ninth, 10th grade. He probably needs one, right?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, I'll do his papers." I said, "Good. You can have this printer. You can just hardwire into it, and I will get a new one because because literally it went down to like the series after that one. Because you have to do everything do these stupid apps now. You can't just turn on your printer and do something. No, you have to have an HP app that you have to have a plug-in to do something on your printer to make it function, and so without that, you can't do anything. So I was just like, "I'm just getting another one." That's what I did because I was like, I couldn't print my shipping labels. It was like, I got my boxes ready, but I can't ship them. And I'm telling you, My kitchen table was like 3 feet tall through all the full of prizes. Because as the people were sending in their stuff, because what they do is when they sponsor you, they ship it to you, and then you put it all together and ship it to the winners. Well, I had my kitchen table 3 feet tall, full of stuff, and my dad was like, "What is all that stuff? What are you getting?" And I'm like, "It's not mine. It's presents. It's presents. It's got I gotta send them out." It was like, "I promise they're going bye bye." And actually, a couple of them were big enough, like the one that went to Canada, I actually had to take into UPS. If it's small enough, I can just stick it in my mailbox and do it that way. But that one, it was cheaper to go by UPS than it was by US mail, by $15 too. I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna go figure out where the UPS store is, which was interesting. And I found it when I was trying to do my pharmacy, and I was like, oh, there's a UPS store, and it beats the heck out of finding that one way down there. Because I've found more places in Conway trying to do that. They don't work right. They don't do correct. They do not do correct stuff at all. It's like, nay, nay, we can't play nice. And let me tell you, you try and do this stupid StreamYard stuff, it really don't play nice. Because I was going to let y'all see the pretty picture. But no, I have to go to talking like 5 times on the background, reverbing across the room. It's like, man. And that's what it sounded like too. It sounded like I was just bopping across the room. Do, 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 do. It was bad. And then, like, I bought headphones because everyone was like, well, wear headphones. It'll make it better. I bought headphones. It did not make it better. It made it worse. So, yeah, it is absolutely stupid. Sometimes I hate technology. And it's like, well, like when I first started trying to figure out, what was it? KindMaster. Okay. Because they've only charging $20 a year for KindMaster. And I was like, okay, I can do $20 a year. Well, it took me almost the whole year to figure out how to use the thing. My granddaughter could do it like that. And I'd say, how'd you do that? I don't know. It's like, that don't work. I don't know, Nana. I don't know how I did it. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I sit there and worked and worked and worked. And I finally figured the stuff out. And then they said, then, oh, your subscription's fixing to go out and it's now 120 a year. And I was like, nope, not paying that. 120 a year to use KindMaster. I was like, no, 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 no. That's crazy. So, and then I found I was using UCut because someone suggested UCut, but it got to when I was using UCut for some reason it was shrinking it down and making it fuzzy on top and bottom. I don't know what it was doing. And so I went from that to Filmora, which seems to do better. But every one of them is a different learning curve. It's like, for real? For real. It's like, ugh. And then I found, I don't know how I come across it, but it was a lifetime educational license for Canva. I mean, someone was like, here's my educational license and pay me $50 and you get lifetime access. And I was like, okay, well, at least I can go make my thumbnails now with Canva and not have every time I turn around someone saying, oh, you need 3 credits because it costs money. Yeah, that's the one I'm starting to use because it's not doing that to where it's shrinking it and making it fuzzy. Because that was kind of weird. I was like, I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. So we changed. And then try and splice, but I can't adjust the music on it. Oh, you make them in Filmora? How do you do that? Huh. Might try that. Hey, it took me 6 months to figure out how to make a thumbnail, believe it or not. Because I was like, when I first started, it was like YouTube would pick them, and it picked weird, stupid stuff. And so it would give you like 3 choices. So I would have to pick one of those 3 choices. And then I finally figured out how to customize it. And here recently, I figured out how to put it on there right when I'm loading it. So it's just like, okay. It's like, oh, what a learning curve. I can literally remember last year around this time, because I think I've been doing it right at a year, of sitting there and about crying, and it taken 4 hours to like put a thing together. Yeah, it would take me 4 hours. Very, yeah. oh, oh, 4 hours. And that was just not even editing. That was just trying to like figure out how to put an intro and how to put the actual video and an extra together. It was like it was crazy. I mean, it was like so easy because it's like that stuff's easy now, but man, I can remember when it would make me bawl. I'd be sitting there going, I can't do this. Someone help me. I swear, I'd be like bawling. I'd be bawling and squalling like a baby. And see, I need to make up another thing for, unless I can just pull up the other one, but I'm changing the sizes and stuff in it. So I don't know if it would let me. Oh, now they want in. You hear what they do? They actually get in front of the window and bark at the window. Yes. Because yeah, that'd be neat to be able to do it right in it. Because yeah, I mean, I'm like doing stuff here, doing stuff there. Okay, guys, he's gonna bark until I get up and let him in. So I'm gonna let him in. Little painful heathen. Oh. Because he was really gonna sit there and bark at that window until I did. And he wasn't gonna get, at least he doesn't, the other one of them will actually jump 3 feet in the air and throw his body against the door. One of these days I expect it to shatter because literally he'll take his like 27-pound body and get all the way off the ground and throw himself like, body slam. It's like watching wrestlers. You're like, what the heck? I mean, he'll just, oh God, he's bad. And he don't quit. He don't quit. Dog's got some determination. He's part Jack Russell and part rat terrier. And that little critter will sit there and play slam bang on the door until you come let him in. It's crazy. And then, of course, all my dogs are spoiled. They're just plumb D down spoiled. I actually have a picture. Let me show you the picture. It's so cute. It is cute. It's kind of fuzzy because I was trying to take it while I was in the bed and I didn't want to move because I didn't want to mess it up. But he literally, I don't know if I can get this to where you can see it. Laying there, and he actually came up and put his head on my hand and then wrapped his paws around my arm and went to sleep. Tell me that's not spoiled. He is a spoiled little thing. But literally, Came up, dropped his head on my hand, and then wrapped his paws around my arm and went to sleep. He's like, I love you, mommy. I was like, I love you too. He is my little special dog, though, because I used to, when he was first got him, and that was whenever I was still working in the calf lab. So every other week I had to live in Russellville, which is 35 minutes from here. And so I would have to live there for a week. And so it was like, well, I can't really leave the other two. I could leave outside, and it would be all right as long as they had food and water and stuff. But him, I didn't want to leave him outside. He was a baby. And so I literally bought a small crate and would take him back and forth to Russellville every other week. And he would go on call with me. So it would be like, haul him there, keep him for a week, haul him back. And of course, the little sucker for a long time got car sick. It'd be like, oh no, don't puke on me. No puking on mom. So he's my little baby because he literally, literally, yeah. My aunt just used to him being around because, it was her house. And so I was living in her house with my dog. Yep. Orange wee boy. Huh. He's like, yeah, I'm sleeping now, mom. He's curled up in the chair on his bed. He's actually curled up in the chair and has pulled the blanket up over him. So, okay. It's like, go for it. Oh. So I will keep you all up to date because I bought two more books. I've got plenty of books coming in this week. I think they start coming in on Friday. Yeah, they're very spoiled. No, they don't stay out long. And then my dogs are so spoiled, they've actually figured out that it is in their best interest to go to bed before mom because they get where they want. And then mom's got to like try to like, and then sometimes I just go in there and look and see where they're at and go, no, I'm sleeping on the couch. And actually, I've slept on the couch because it was like the big one, the one that weighs 105 pounds, the one that came over here and was like doing the, he'll literally get up there and like get in my spot and put his head up on the pillow and he'll be like all sprawled out in my spot. And then the other ones are sprawled out. One's under the cut. One actually gets under the covers and he'll be down at the bottom of the bed. And then the other one's on the other side of the bed. And I'm just like, really? Got a king size bed and I can't get in it. I'm like, y'all are awful. And then if I'm in there, the little one wraps around my feet, and the middle one will sit there and get down and swing up on my body, and the big one will get up there and drop his head on my shoulder, and he'll sleep on my shoulder. It's like, okay, I got, I'm just like covered with dog. And then the cat's decided sometimes that she's got to get in on it. So, I mean, she's never been scared. I mean, when I brought her in, she was the size of my hand. And I was kind of worried because, the 105-pound big, he's part pit bull and part bull mastiff. And so I was kind of worried. And those dogs never, even the huge one, not once did they bark at the cat, nip at the cat, chase the cat, nothing. The cat has done more to the dogs than the dogs have ever done to the cat. The cat terrorizes them. The dogs don't do nothing, but the cat terrorizes them. The cat has literally, when the big, huge one's laying down asleep, she'll walk around, rub all over him, and if he doesn't pay attention to her, she'll go park her butt on his face. I'm like, really? You had to walk up there and park your rear end on his face. I don't think he wants your rear on his face. I mean, it cracks me up to watch it because she just like it's like no mind to her. I'll see him like the middle one. She would grab a hold of his tail and he'd be swinging it like windshield wipers. And here's the cat, poof 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 poof, because she's hung on like a I don't know a piranha. It's like, gosh, you're awful, cat. Oh, and Peggy on Nix's trays, just know it takes a while because I mean she does so many orders that and she does them in order. But when she gets to you, she'll get them out to you, and they'll be all pretty wrapped and really nice. Yeah, and I mean her putties are awesome. The only one that was kind of rough, and she'll tell you it was kind of rough, and that was the reindeer poop. Hold on. Oh, 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 oh. The reindeer poop. Yeah, it's cutest little reindeer on them. But I bought some amber. Mm, I bought some amber oil, and it wasn't so much the pine that was rough. It was the camphor because it has camphor in it. And so I was like, I love amber. I was like, well, what'll kind of counteract that camphor? And so me and Carrie Take 10 and Atlanta was sitting there talking about it one night, and I was like, I wonder if that amber would work. And so they were like, yeah, it might. And so I sit there and I scooped all this out of here and I mixed the amber in it and smushed it all back up real good and smushed it all really good, put it all back in there, and was like, that's awesome. And did it that way and it worked great. Worked awesome. Smells so good. Put it all back in there, stuffed it back in. The rest of them all smell great. This one was pine and camphor and something else. But the camphor was just a little strong in it. So we fixed it up. Yeah, so don't worry. I mean, it will come. It takes a little bit. She used to really try to like get them really out like within 3 4 days, and it was killing her. She was sleeping like hardly at all. And her hands were always tore up, and it was like, yeah, you're gonna have to tell people they gotta wait a little bit, because some people were ordering 70 trays at a time. I was like, whoa, whoa, that's a bit. That's quite a bit, quite a bit. So, and when I get my books in, I'll open them and show y'all my nifty new books because they ought to be kind of cool. 'Cause some of them, like well, one I think is a school book. I really do. I think it was her school book. Yeah, 70 trays at a time. Oh, night crafty. Yes, yes, yes. You get a good night's sleep. Enjoy yourself because yes, Bori, I remember those days. I remember those days. That was about when I had to get up to get to Clarksville in time when I worked. So, yes, I remember those days. Yeah, it's so funny because the sleeping doctor, because he's like, "Do you work?" And I said, "No, I'm medically disabled now." And he was like, "So you don't work?" I said, "No." He said, "So it don't really matter that you go to sleep at 3:30 in the morning and get up at noon." I said, "No, not really." It really doesn't because I always plan all my doctor's appointments for after 1 because I know I ain't getting up that early. And so and my problem is from the time I was 18, when I was 18 and started working, I worked 3rd shift in a factory. And then when I got up in Maine or when I was in the service, I worked night shift in the service. Night Crafty. And so it was like, I worked night shift in the service, and then when I got out of that, I worked night shift in the factory again. Then I went to nursing school for 3, 4 years, and that was just, oh, you know, horrid. And it was days, and it was horrid. And then as soon as I got out of school, I went right back to working midnights, and I worked night shift my entire career except for the last so many years. So he was like, "So basically, your whole life you stayed up all night, slept until around 1, 2." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I think that's your circadian rhythm now." And he said, "We're fighting your natural rhythm." He said, "So when do you get sleepy?" I said, "About 3:30, 4." And I said, he goes, "Well, what happens if you try to go to bed at midnight?" I said, "I lay there. Even if I take a sleeping pill, I lay there and I can't go to sleep." I said, "I just can't go to sleep. And sometimes I just get back up and then I get past that sleepy part and I don't go to sleep then because I'll just start doing stuff." And so he was like, "Okay." He said, "I suggest that instead of us fighting your natural rhythm, that we'll just go with that. You plan on going to bed when you start getting tired at 3 to 4 in the morning and just plan to get up in 8 hours from when you do." Yep. So I'm right there with you, Peggy. That's about what I do. I stay up all night. I DP, and then sometimes I'll say, "Oh, I want to vacuum," and I'll vacuum at night. I'll do dishes at night. I do everything at night. I shop at night. Lord, can I shop at night? Really well. I mean, and back when they had Walmarts open 24/7, oh Lord, I'd go Walmart. My kids will attest to that nighttime thing because I would take them school shopping at midnight. Literally. I would wake them up, or we would do it on a Friday and they could stay up, and we would go to Walmart at midnight and they could go pick their clothes, they could go pick their stuff. You're not fighting with everybody. There ain't no one in there. They get what they want. It's cool. There ain't no one to bother you. There's a few stalkers or the ones stocking the shelves, but kids can get what they want. So I mean, even whenever the kids were in school, I would get them up, take them in the middle of the night. I would come see my mom in the middle of the night because she was a night owl too. So if I was like, "Hey, mom, what you do?" None. Okay, I'm coming up. It's 30, 40-minute drive, but I'd come up and hang out with her and go home. Time to go to bed. It was just like that's just what I did. And my daughter's like, "Mom, you've just gone back to your regular schedule." She goes, "That's all it is. You're back on your when you work night schedule." She goes, "'Cause that's exactly what it's like." Oh yeah, I blow up Etsy really bad. In fact, I think I bought another pin off of there. I think it was off there. It was a really cool looking pin. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's almost here too. It may have came today, but I didn't look because it's snowy and I didn't want to walk outside my door. Yeah, I don't even like going to Walmart. You got to pay me almost to go to Walmart. And it's funny because my dad, it's a 17-mile trip to go to Walmart. And boy, he'll go to Walmart 24/7. There it is. I bought that one. Let me see if I can. There we go. I got that pin, and it was actually. I mean, it's sold out now, of course, because it's in my hot little hand, and I paid $36 for it. So I was like, $36? Okay, I will, Sandy. So I mean, it was like $36. Oh, I can do that. So I got that pin, and like I said, I got one of those quick pickup pins coming. Like, do I need these things? And oh, I bought the coolest thing, guys. And it's for my pins. I'll show you when it gets here. It's for my pins. I had to really look too, because it was kind of difficult to find it. Let me see. And is it for pins? Probably not. Oh, it is for pins. But there we go. You lay your pins in there, and then it's a glass top. And I figured that way they're all safe and they're pretty and I have TJ pins. I have diamond art pins because, like, when I buy diamond art kits, what I used to do is if I needed the shipping, these are the ones I have close to me. But if I needed, I didn't want to pay shipping, I would buy a pin. But this one's a TJ pin. And let me see. This one's Amazon pin. You can get this one on Amazon. And it actually comes with another one that's pink. It has pink flowers in it. And then this is a TJ pin. That's my hot chocolate. It kind of looks like hot chocolate with marshmallows. And then this one is from Etsy and it's a DP Gal pin. Because I really wanted a pink pin. I just really wanted a pink pin. And I couldn't get a pink pin. See, that's probably Diamond Dazzler. And then they have a quick pick on Etsy that's quick pickup. It's K&S Customs. And they have quick pick, and it's where you fill the top with either putty or wax or whatever, and then it squeezes out by itself. No, because I usually have my finger down in this little area right here, right above that nub. So those are kind of like the K&S. I've heard of them. I haven't seen them, but they're similar. Like the K&S has the same thing where they got that bigger end, and you can put your wax in there. Yeah. And let me see. I can actually show the picture because, of course, you won't be able to get one because I got the last one. I do that really well. Me and the last one, I do really good. Let me see if I can get to it. That one says darn, and you can't even see the picture. But that's the one I got. And it's like a silvery blue with a butterfly on it. And then, I mean, it's like, yeah, I've got, I'm going to put the pin thingy over here on the left. And then, of course, I got the Tmall thing going on over here. I mean, it's like my whole my living room is like a craft room. I have a craft room. But do I work in my craft room? No. No. Craft room just holds the canvases and all my stuff. Out here, I've got the big canvas on my crafting table that's 900,000 sizes big. It's a big Hade. And then you got, my kitchen table, which right now has all my kitted up kits for February, March, April, May. I think all those months I have kits on there already kitted up for all them, and then of course right here in the couch I got my Tmall stuff and then I got my workstation and yeah, it's like, yeah, my whole house is like a craft room. Yep. And then my other rabbit hole I fell in, because it's getting warm again, so I'll have to go hook up a water hose and I'm going to do it again, was rock tumbling. So I have a tumbler, the rock vibrator, because you use the vibrator for your softer stones so that you don't end up beating them down. Ah, yes. from I don't really have one from diamond painting, but I did get one from what was I doing? I was playing on the internet. Oh, I was playing a game on Xbox, and I played so long that it made a thing form right here on my knuckle from doing the yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Yep. Know what you are talking about. But yeah, I sit there and I actually have the tumbler. I have the rock vibrator where instead of tumbling them, you can put them in there and it just kind of jiggles them so the softer stones, it'll smooth them, but it doesn't beat them down to nothing. Yeah, mine's from a video game from the controller. Like put a little spur on my bone right there. And then I have a rock saw. Because you ever seen those big rocks and they just saw them down and they're really pretty? Yeah. I have a rock saw. I have all three of those on my back deck. And then my brother, I have a 5-gallon bucket full of really cool looking rocks that he walked the river after my mom passed. That's what he did. Oh, and I started watching YouTube videos and it was a hole, big hole, massive hole I fell in. Got some cool rocks. And I'd gotten, because it takes 6 weeks for each set. Because it has to go in on the hard grit for a whole week, and then it gets a little smaller grit for a whole week, and a little smaller grit for a whole week, and then a smaller grit for another week, and then you can finally put the polishing grit on it, and then if it's not done enough, you still put more polishing grit on it. So it can be, a big thing. Okay, I was like, "What in the world?" But, it could be a big thing. So it was like, "Okay." Um, I think I wanna do that. It was some guy walking along the Michigan Lake coast, and I know they have beautiful rocks. I've been up there, and they got beautiful rocks. And he would pick up these rocks and then take them and tumble them, and you'd be like, "Oh, I wanna do that." Oh, Peggy, she's a moderator, so, like, if a bot comes in, you know, one of the people are really a pain or the fake robot bot, she can, like, time them out and kick them out and get rid of them. But, yeah, so, that's and he's got beautiful rocks in there. I'd be like, "Ooh, I want this rock, I want" and he was just gonna go throw them all back, and I was like, "No, I want them." But it takes I mean, you only get, like, a batch of every 4 or 5 weeks. But I did learn what kind to put in there and what type not to put in there because, like, I put one in there that was really cool looking, but it was a softer rock, and it should have gone in the vibrator, and it just basically ate that rock. I mean, when I opened it up, the foam was bright red and the rock was itty bitty because it just literally chewed that rock up. I don't know. I can take it away if you don't want it. One day we was in someone's live and it was giving everybody blue wrenches. It was like, "Was you in that live, Nut Nut?" Where they were like, "How'd you get a blue wrench?" People were like, "I don't know." Well, it's like if there's a bot in here, if it's someone that's spamming or one of those ones saying, "Hey, hit this link, it's sexy porn," you can go get rid of them. But it seems like every once in a while they just arbitrarily because I'm pretty sure my Nut is in that live and people are like, "How did I get a blue wrench?" People are like, "I don't know. Just you just got a blue wrench." It was like everybody in the thing had a blue wrench. But basically, like if I don't know if you've I've only had a couple, and usually I kick them out really quick. But it's like you'll get those, especially Ruby Q's are really bad for it. Her old ones were at least where they would get into like really, wild talk, and then the next thing you know, people dropping porn links in there. Yep, you can hit them on their heads and make them go bye bye. And man, this week I told my son, I said, I have had the wildest dreams. I said, I dreamed that it rained so much because we've had some really wild rain. And I said, I dreamed it rained so much that on the backside of Aunt Lynn, that was a road that goes, there ain't no road back there, by the way. Um, ooh. But, I was dreaming that literally it was a little stream, and then it got bigger and turned into a little creek, and then it got bigger and turned into a river, and then it was all the way up to her house and heading toward my house, and I was like, "Okay, I have lost my mind," because I know there ain't no, I mean, there is a creek back there, but there is no road back there. Now, Sandy, I will definitely message you. I wish I still had my stuff, and I moved, and I know it's probably gone. Or it could be. It really could be. I don't know. There is this is funny. When we moved in, we put some boxes in the boys' room's closet. And then the doorknob fell off the boys' room closet. So no one's ever been in the boys' room's closet. So I don't know what's in the boys' room closet. It could be those books. It could be, I don't know. I mean, I know there's some dishes I never saw, but I figure I've lived here almost 10 years and I ain't needed it. So I probably really don't need it. But I mean, I know that what's in the boys' room closet isn't stuff I use all the time. Now, the stuff that's in my craft room closet, you see, it's the paint from painting the rooms. I love this. It is all the quilting stuff, all the patterns. I sold the book. I actually gave the books away. I had probably about $300 worth of books that I gave to my aunt because she's a quilter. So I gave those to her, but I still have quilt back pieces in there. I got partially done quilts. I got tubs with partially 3D quilts in them. My quilting machine is my daughter borrowed it. It's at her. Ooh, yes, that would be awesome. I made that chocolate amber last night, Sandy, and I used a frother with it. But the basic reason I used a frother is I was using grapeseed oil, and when I put the chocolate oil in there, it was heavy, and I mean, it was brown, and you could just it was like a brown blob, and so I was kinda, like, using the whisker to break it up and make it incorporate together better, which it did, but it was also, I mean, I was wearing a little bit of it, and then I put the amber in there, and so by the time I'm done, I am, like, I'm covered in chocolate amber. I smell pretty good. I put a little bit of I had a little bit left over, so I put it in my incense on my wax melt thing, and to top it off, I sit there and made my bath salts. So my bath salts are kind of brownish looking, but they smell fabulous. I actually, whenever they had the quilting shops where you could go in and take your machine with you and all your stuff, and it'd be like 10 to 12 women, and you're there, and it'd be like a big get together, and you'd pick a project and you do it all together. That's what I liked. When I took it home and had to do it by myself, I didn't like that so much. And so now it sits in my closet. I sold my kiln because I had a kiln. I sold all my greenware, sold all my firedware, Sold all my glazes. See, do I have it? Oh, my daughter, she wanted to borrow my cross stitch stuff. So I was like, okay, next thing I know, she's giving it away. I had the big blue tub and I had every color of thread. And she gave it away. Gave it away. I was like, really? Why did you do that? But she knew she was gonna do it. I wasn't doing nothing. I was like, I might have wanted it back. It was like, really? But it's like that closet, it's like cram packed full of stuff. It's the stuff closet. It's got blankets upon blankets upon blankets because everybody gets you blankets and blankets and more blankets and more blankets. And so I finally got to where I was using that big vacuum packy thing. You put them in the big thing and suck it up and flatten it out and throw them in the closet. And my class A's might actually be in that closet. My dress blues from the Air Force might actually be in that closet. Come to think of it, would I be able to get my butt in them? No, 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 no. I think I weighed 140 when I was in, so yeah, my booty ain't going in them. I don't want to weigh that little to save my life. Number one, I know for a fact because when I hit 164, between 160 and 164, took a picture of myself. I look sick. I look anorexic. I really did. I looked ill. So 160 is not a good look on me. Around 170 to 175 seems to be the best look on me. 164, 65, I actually looked ill. Yeah, I used to do all kinds of like samplers. I did spice samplers and I used to do the real intricate dragon ones to where like every stitch had 3 colors of thread and it would be different like quarter stitches. Like you do this and I'd have thread all over the place. Diamond painting much easier because I would literally have my whole arm of my couch be just lined with different colors of thread on different needles. And then you do a stitch, couple stitches, take it out, and then pick the other one. And it took forever. And it was a dragon and it was coming out of the ocean and then it wrapped around a castle that was on this like a rocky crag, coming out of the ocean. And it was a castle and then the dragon wrapped all the way around it. So you see its tail coming out one side and the body and it was massive. My son's got it now, but oh man. So it's like I always did the really intricate, super intricate, massively intricate kits. And I did all the Disney stuff for them. I think they have my daughter's got one she still has. I think it's in her hallway, and it's Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, and then I had done, oh, Lady and the Tramp, and, I mean, I did all kinds of those for the kids when they were little. So now it's like, this is much easier on the eyes, less painful on the fingers, because with your poor fingers when it was like you're always stabbing yourself. And then, of course, that's how I found out my eyes did the over 40 thing. I went to read a pattern one day and I couldn't. And I was like, what in the world have they done to these patterns? Why can I not figure out what that pattern's? What in the world? And so finally, I got some reading glasses, put them on, and I could read it beautifully. And I was like, oh, not the pattern, it's my eyes. So, yeah, that sucked. I would like to do body powder, Sandy. I've never done body powders, and I've never done well, I've done bath salts, but you could always use, different scent combinations and stuff. I know, Take 10, we did the frankincense and amber, and it turned really good, really good. You could probably take them to a craft show or one of the, I don't know if they have them there, but they're like expo events and stuff for crafters and possibly sell them. I don't know, my grandkids love their diamond paintings. I did a, I have to tell you that was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Nightmare was a Huracan, and it was a Huracan custom, and he wanted the Knight Rider car. I don't like dark colors. I really don't. Dark colors kill me. They, I mean, I'll power through it, but they kill me. It's not my cup of tea. I'm more the bright, vibrant colors, the pinks, the purples, the blues, the green, but the vibrant colors. I am not the black colors. I just no. I think the darkest thing I've done on my own voluntarily was Artemisas. Yeah. So when I did Knight Rider car for him, that like killed me because it was a black car in front of a gray warehouse sitting on the dark, asphalt with a gray sky behind it. The only thing color on it was the little red bleepy thing on the front of the car. It was like torment beyond torment beyond torment. And then the other one of his that I did, which was torment, was black background, black everything except for the motorcycle, and then the rest of it's all red and orange because it's Ghost Rider, and it's when he turned into vengeance, so his head's in flames and the bike's in flames and his chain's in flames. Everything's in flames, so it's all red, orange, and yellow for that, and then the rest is black. It was like, that like killed me. Oh yeah, my granddaughter's got when I did Sandy for last year's Michael G. Lena along or whatever it was, and I did Sandy for her, and the way I mean, it's so long it's going to be hard to frame. What I did is I went to Dollar Tree, well, the $1.25 store now, and bought 3 foam boards, and they sell foam board for $1.25. Same one you get at Dollar General or the other stores for 4 or $5 for $1.25. And I bought 3 of them and I cut one in half, and then, the other one stayed the regular length. And what I did is I actually put them like a small one, a big one, and then flipped it the other way, small one, big one. And then I duct taped. Could have glued them or, but I basically glued them together, and then I just kind of took packing tape, the thin packing tape, and went around where the connection was on each of them. And then I wrapped the picture around the foam board because I cut it down to it, and I wrapped it around it and, made it to where the corners would kind of had the little cutout so the corners would be good. And I took a stapler and stapled it down all the way around, and then just got a sawtooth and E4000 that to the board, and it worked great. And it's hanging on our wall. Worked great. So it was like, yeah. The boys, once I've done a Spider-Man, I've done a Randall Spangler for one. I mean, yeah. My brother, he inherited, I had the cat Cavalier, one with the cat that had the fish eye mask. And I had it on my wall, and he come in and he's like, "Oh my God, I really love that painting." And it was his birthday week. And so I was like, okay. And so the next day I walked it over to him and said happy birthday and gave it to him for his birthday. And it was framed. And then one I was doing for myself because it reminded me of a place in Maine. It reminded me of Fort Fairfield so much. I mean, looked just like the bridge this Monday Fort Fairfield. And so that's why I was doing it. My dad would come over, time he'd come over and visit, he'd see it. And he'd go, I love that painting. He goes, that's just gorgeous. I love that. I mean, it is a beautiful painting. It really is. And so I went ahead and I framed it, and then I walked it over to him, and it was his birthday is the day after my birthday, or yeah, the day after. And so I walked it over to him and handed it to him and said, "Happy birthday." Yeah, I won't. Yeah, Walmart. I mean, even these big ones like Titanium and Oberon, they will fit in the largest poster frame that Walmart carries. I know because that's what my Titanium and Oberon is in. It's I think it's 28 by I think it's 28 by 40 or something like that. But yeah, it works. And my festive fireplace, it's in one of those. I think I had to cut maybe 2 rows of drills off, and that's it. So, yeah. And then my big one, my Hade, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that one because it's 5 feet tall and 4 feet wide. That don't mean nothing, and I ain't buying nothing that big. But I have thought about getting that melamine, that real thin board, like thin board, just for a backing or plywood, like some kind of thin something backing, and then getting just like corner trim or floor trim or crown molding or something, and using that to make a frame. Because all you'd have to do is miter the corners and then staple it down to it. And so I was thinking of actually stapling it to the frame and then taking the melamine and then, gluing it to the actual canvas to make it where it'd have a flat background because it's the whole wall. It's the size of a wall, guys. I mean, I know where I'm putting it. It's the size of a wall. This thing is literally like taller than I am. I mean, it's yeah, a lot taller than I am. So it's like, yeah, you got to get creative because I couldn't imagine buying a frame for that thing. Because literally, it is 4 feet wide, 6 feet tall, and we literally to be able to work on it on my drafting table, we had to come up with a system, and so we actually bought a piece of plywood, cut it in half, and then made a lip on the bottom where I could put my um, uh, light pad in there and be able to work on it. Because it's huge, absolutely huge. And then I got the light pad sitting on 2 disc boxes, the old CD or DVD books boxes. I got it sitting on 2 of those to hold it up so that I don't have to work right at the bottom. It's crazy, and it's huge, and it's massive. It's like, I think by the time I finish it, it's like something like 300 and some 320,000 drills. It's like crazy, crazy huge. It's the equivalent of 4 60 by 80s. So you think the size of a Dreamer design times 4 is what this canvas is. And I'm finally up to 80% of it. And when I hit 80%, I was so ecstatic because that means I only have 20% left. So I was super ecstatic about that. Crazy dog. Have any of y'all watched that movie, Devotion? It's out on Paramount now. Came out in like November. And it's a true story. It's like a real true life story. I watched that last night. That was really good. Really good. And what impressed me, I mean, I was really upset that the guy died. I was really upset. But what impressed me was his fighter pilot leader was like literally crashed his plane on purpose to go back and try to get that guy out of his plane because he wasn't getting out of his plane. And when he got there, the reason he wasn't getting out of his plane is because his legs were jammed in under the cockpit down underneath the controls, and he couldn't get them out. I mean, and so he tried. He really did try. And, they called in, and this is during the beginning of the Korean War. Or not Korean War, was it? It might have been the Korean War because it was 1950. So, he was trying to get him out of there, and they called to get the rescue people, and they were like, "Well, no one's flying. It's after dark. We ain't doing it." And then this one guy that went to school with that pilot, he said, "Who'd you say was down?" And he said, "No, I'm going. I'm going. I'll go. I'm going." And so he flies out there to get him, and the pilot friends out there, and it's showing the Chinese are starting to get up close to him, and he's trying to protect the guy, and then the helicopter comes, so they back off some, and they're trying to get him out, and then when he passes, the helicopter guy was like, "We got to go. He's gone." And he was like, "No, we got to get him out. We're taking him with us." And he was like beating that door and beating that door and beating that door and beating that door, and could not get him out. And the guy made him leave. Said, "No, we got to go." And so at the end of the show, it shows you where the guy's wife and this pilot, for the rest of their lives, are very good friends and have tried to get his remains brought back here, and have tried to get permission to go there and get, to search for him. And of course, both him, the wife, and that pilot have passed on now. And the daughter from the guy who died and the son from the other pilot have now both joined in, and they're actively trying and petitioning and working on trying to get her grandfather or her father's remains brought back here. I just thought that was very, very, I mean, because you don't see that very often, you know, because the one guy was black. Back when blacks were, it was like, no, 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 no. He was like one of the first naval black flyers. And, the whole crew was like, no, no. And then they became very attached. He was such a loving person that's how attached they got with him, was that the flight leader was like, "I'm going back for him. I'm not leaving him." So it was like a very good movie. And I didn't even know about that movie. And I was watching something on YouTube, and it was actually quite interesting. It was actually the two pilots that flew in Maverick, the real pilots. So it was like the one pilot that was Tom Cruise's double. And he said, "Man, they made me sick. They shaved my head halfway up so that they could fit Tom's head over his head and you wouldn't know it." And so he was like, "I'm sitting there and I'm in makeup, and next thing I know, they're shaving my head halfway up, and I gotta go work in, 2 days." I was cracking up. But he is the one known for doing low level strafes, like right across the bottom. And so they really needed him. They needed him for, those low level runs that they wanted to do in the movie. And they were like, "Well, who can we get to do those?" And they said, "Yeah, no, the only one to do those is Walleye." And Walleye, it was so funny because it was comical, because he was like, "Okay, this movie is about this guy that lives above a hangar. He's someone that's in the service, but is so malfunctioning in the service the way they want it, that he's not eligible to rise up in the ranks because he's always in trouble. So he's very, he's still a captain and should be, like way up there." And so he was like, "And here I am in real life. I live in a hangar with my family. We live in an old hangar, and everything's like the boys club below. And he goes, "And I'm not really eligible to go up in ranks," because he said, "I'm always doing these low-level flights and flying too close and getting written up," and he was like, "So I'm playing the double of someone who's my double." And he was like, "Now that's cool." So, but I thought that was pretty funny because, basically he was like, "I'm not playing the double of someone who's my double." And so, they had him and, like, to be in this movie, Tom wanted all of the actors to actually be in the jets. And so the guy who was flying the main pilot was like, "Fine, but y'all have to go through the training, the same training we do." He said, "Because I want to know that if we're going down, you can jump out, you can eject." He said, "So you got to go through the same training that I do so that I can eject." And he was like, and it was rough. They were showing it, and it was like, all the push-ups and the physical training, but then it was like a lot of water training, like sticking you in the thing and dragging you across the bottom of the pool, putting you in a plane carcass, flipping it upside down, making sure that you'd be able to get out the window, all this crazy stuff. And so he said, asked him, he said, "Well, did any of the actors give you a problem about that? Saying, 'Hey, I don't want to do that. I'm not sure about that.'" He said, "Yeah, the senior actor." Because he came up and was like, "I did that 36 years ago." And he was like, "Yeah, and you're going to do it again too if you want to get in the bird." I thought that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. And then it was showing like the actors' faces for real when they were in the jets because they really did put them through some G runs and a lot of that was real flying. It wasn't computer generated flying and all that. It was like, because the guy was like, "Did y'all really do that?" And he was like, "Yeah, we did that." "Did y'all really do that?" And he was like, "Yeah, we did that." It's just that they had a real pilot, but the way they would work it is they would take the real pilot, have him flying the plane, but he had to wear the same helmet as who the actor was and had to have his makeup done to make it look to where they could flip him and you wouldn't know. So I thought that was really interesting. But it was like, yeah, that was kind of cool. It was like a 30-minute thing on YouTube, but it was the real pilots, and they were like, "You know what? You know what?" They said, "You know why I'm a fighter pilot?" And they're probably not even my age. They're probably in their 40s. And so they were like, "The reason we're fighter pilots," he said, "we saw Top Gun, and we were like, we're gonna go do that." And so they were like, "No, not really." And he was like, "Yeah, that's why we're fighter pilots. We joined because of Top Gun." And they said that's kind of where the hope was with Maverick, is it would cause a they said, "We won't notice it right now, but maybe by next year we will, where we'll start seeing people coming in and going, 'We want to do that.' We want to do that." And then they said, "Well, what was so funny is, they're putting Air Force ads, and they don't know the difference between an Air Force pilot and a Navy pilot." I do because Air Force pilot, he takes off on the ground. Navy pilot, they take off on a boat. He's like, "Yeah, worlds apart." But they were like, the way they're looking at it, they don't care because even if they said they got paid, they literally paid the military like so many thousands and so much and 15 cents a day for the use of their boats and their planes and their this and their that and their I mean, they were paying them the movie industry was paying them for the use of their stuff. And so I said they're getting paid for it. They just and both me and him, he's like semi-retired and I was retired. They brought me back to do this. He's like, "So, where they're not hurting with us and they get this and even if they get one person to join, that is a 100% win for them. They have made back their money because they didn't really put out any money for the movie. So the military, if they get one recruit off that movie, they're in a win-win situation. And they're gonna. But it was really wild to find out that the one guy They told them, they said, we need someone that knows how to do all the stuff they did in the 1940s and 50s with the flags and all that, and bring them in on the boats, because that's not how they do it no more. Now it's all computerized and radio, but back then it was the flags. And he was like, "Just how old do you think I am?" And he was like, "I didn't know that." He said, "So I went and I found who knew that." And he goes, "I brought him in, but the problem was you got to be Hollywood savvy. You got to know when to talk, when not to talk, what to say, how to say, you know, all that." And she goes, and he didn't. And so they told me, no, he ain't gonna work. He's no good. So what they did is they told me to take him and go learn it. And he said, so like I had to spend a day learning what all the flag symbols were for him to be able to, say, yeah, that's what we do. And so, but they were like talking about this movie. And a lot of the actors that were in Maverick are actually in this movie. You'll recognize them. But it was such a good movie. I was watching it last night and telling Take 10 and them. I was like, I'm just so sad. But it was good. It's one of those I'll watch again. It's kind of like Midday. The new Midday I watched. I like to watch the new Midday. I mean, I like the old Midday, but I like to watch the new Midday. But it was like set up right after Pearl Harbor. I mean, it was like the way they trained them cracked me up. It was like they went through flight school, which is basically you can fly a plane, right? And it's like, yeah. Okay, now we're going to train you for on the flight deck. And what they would do is they put them out on this daggum boat and give them 3 tries to land this plane on this boat. And they can't really see the where to land. They got to watch the flag guy. And it was like that one guy the first time he did it, and they're all laughing like, he ain't gonna make it. Yeah, he's way out. He's way out. He's way too high because the guy was afraid he would miss the boat. Well, he bounced because if you come in too high, it's kind of like the white, white, you're all right, red, red, you're dead. Well, he was on the red, red, you did. And he bounced. And when he bounced, his hook into the cable. And he bounced right over it. And luckily he took off. Otherwise, he would have been in the water. Because a lot of them went straight off and in the water. And so he come around and they were like, well, you want to quit? Nope, I'm going to do it again. And on the second one, he was able to hook the hook. And they said, well, you graduated. Go get your bunk because you'll be here tomorrow when we ship out. I was like, good God, that's how you went to school then? That's kind of scary. I mean, you think about it, that's scary. I watched what was it on? Netflix? When I had Netflix? I think it might have been on Netflix. And it was about fighter pilot school, about flight deck school. And it was 3 females and so many guys, and it was like their 3-month training of landing on a boat. And there was a couple of them that went in the drink. I mean, luckily they're able to get them out, but back then, if you went in the drink, you was just gone. You went in the ocean, you was in the ocean. Now, at least if you go in the ocean, they got a chance of getting you out of the ocean. But yeah, it was because one of the girls was like, "Meow," right off the end. So yeah, it's like I don't think I'd like that training of that. Yeah, my grandkids are strange. They're into Tron, Ghostbusters. I mean, they go and actually go and do trick or treating dressed as Ghostbusters. I mean, they got the little kitty proton packs, and they go dressed as Ghostbusters. And they watch Tron. They watch a lot of 80s shows. But then, of course, my son, he's got life size M&M people all over his house. They're like the end tables are these life size M&M people. And he's like, Mom, they're taking away the M&M people. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, they're taking away the M&M people. They offended someone. No more M&M people. And I was like, well, that sucks. And then supposedly they got to put pants on Smokey the Bear now because it's offensive to have Smokey the Bear without pants. And I was like, what? He had brown fur. It's like, it's not like he had parts. It's not like where he had bits. I was like, that's stupid. It's like, it's, yeah, different. Different times, different strokes for different folks, that's for sure. It's like my kids, they come up here where I live, and I live 17 miles out of town. You got to go down almost a mile of dirt road to get to my house. And there ain't very many people on this dirt road. And so my daughter-in-law was like, her son was like, can I go outside? She was like, no. And I looked at her and I'm like, why not? I said, there's not much he can get in trouble with or into. I said, what are the rules? And he said, you can't go in the woods, stay out of the water, and look both ways before I go over to grandpa's. I said, he's good. I was like, let the kid go play. Because out here, I just let them go play. They know they're not supposed to go in the water. They know they're not supposed to go in the woods because in the woods it's overgrown. There could be snakes. So they know stay out of the woods, stay out of the water. There's plenty of things you can do without going in them two places, so they're good. Back when my cousin, who lives one more house up from me, she's about a quarter, maybe three-quarters of a mile up the road, and she had billy goats and geese and stuff for a while. And my granddaughter found her way up there. It was like, Nana, I found a farm. And I was like, that's a cousin Kent, your cousin, great cousin Lynn. Make sure she's okay with you being up there. And she's like, okay, I just want to look at the goats. I mean, they would escape and come down here and be in my yard. It's like plenty of times I had goat in my yard. You look in your driveway and there's ghosts looking at you. Hi there, a goat. Oh God. I remember when I woke up once and it was right after I had the septic system put in. And they don't do them like they used to. They used to put them pretty deep and they'd be pretty safe. No, they're pretty much maybe 4 inches under the ground now, and it was fresh. And I was like, oh my God, those horses are going to cave in my lines. I remember thinking I was freaking out, thinking that the horses were going to cave in my septic lines because these horses are out there tromping on them and they're not like they used to be. My dad's like, oh, they should be a good foot under the ground. I'm like, no, not anymore. Not anymore. I said, the septic tank ain't even a foot underground. It's like right level at the top of the ground. I guess the new septic people don't like having to, because used to they had to come out with that pole and bang and hunt for the top of your things and then dig it to get to the hole. Well, they don't do that anymore. They leave the tops right on top of the dirt. I covered them with like big old planting pots because I was like, I'm not going to have those sticking out of my ground. It's like, what the heck? But they don't bury them no more. They're like right level with the ground. So me and my ex actually took dirt and covered it at least. It was like, God, that's nasty. Like, that's like way nasty. Well, guys, I love that y'all been here for so long, but I really got to go to the restroom and I need to get something to eat. So I think I'm going to pop off of here. And as soon as I do, and it comes up, just go in there either today or tomorrow and just click on it then and go under the comments. And because you can go to the top up there where it says live and just click there. It'll bring the lives up. It'll be the last one, the one on top. And you can go in there and click it and hit comments and then just put me pleases. And then I will put you in the wheel. But thank you so much for coming. And I now know that when I start the herbal journey, I will do an herbal live a day or herbal live a week. So I'll do one of them. And just people want to come in and hear about that. God, look at all that white. Oh my Lord. But all people that want to come in and learn about that can come in. So it's going to be pretty cool. So night everybody, night Peggy, and just everybody hit subscribe. Hit like on your way out. Make sure you hit subscribe. And that way it'll let you know when I'm on. If you hit the little bell and make it turn dark, it'll actually tell you that I'm on. Hi, Pommy. We're heading out. Sorry, Pommy. But make it dark and it'll let you know that I'm live. And I will see you next Wednesday, if not before, because I'm trying to start doing some pop-up lives. And I will get this repackaged up and ready to go out. And I will see you all later. Love you all. And y'all stay safe. Let me see if I can get my little heart going. There we go. I got my heart going. Yay! Made it. I love y'all. See you next week. Bye. Oh, Rocky, I hear you barking.